Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, August 23rd, 2024. Second week remote with Luke here. Luke, how you been doing? School's started up. How's everything going?
Uh, yeah, everything's fine. It's the calm before the storm. Still kind of, meeting your professors, kind of the introductory part of the classes. So I'm getting settled in though.
Good, good. You were at the Braves
Yeah.
game versus the Phillies. You must have been the bad luck
Yeah.
charm, if I had to guess.
Uh, no, because I left before the game was over, and I left before the Phillies took the lead. So I think I was actually the good luck charm.
So you shouldn't have left.
I left. Should not have left, but I had to drive all the way back to Athens. And if any of y'all have ever
Yeah, no, that sucks.
commuted from Athens to Atlanta, it is a entirely different ball game than going to Atlanta from North Georgia because you have
Yeah,
to hit all this construction through Winder, hit 85, then 285. I mean, anybody that lives in Georgia gets it. It's a
yeah.
whole shit show.
It's horrendous.
So all the traffic you could imagine, I hit it.
I'm sure. But
Yeah.
also, you couldn't have been the bad luck charm because you didn't stare down Bryce Harper when you hit a two-run home run. So
No.
that
No.
is a big part of it as well. Got a lot of stuff going on. Things are really, it's all real now. It's real. Everything's
Yeah.
starting. College football starts tomorrow, as everybody's listening to this. Tomorrow.
Florida State plays
Yes,
soon, don't
at,
they? Or
at
tonight?
noon on Saturday
Oh, okay.
in Dublin, Ireland versus Georgia Tech.
That's right, because
Yeah.
I've been doing the tech rebuild on college football, and I forgot that they do play in Dublin. Where are they gonna play that at? Where is that game?
Uh,
What stadium?
I'm pulling it up right now, but I do not remember.
That's a big deal for college football, though, to go overseas like
Yeah,
that.
so
Like,
this
what
is
an
the
opportunity for those
third
kids.
year that they've had this college football season opener on week 0. I think it was in week 0 every year. It is
Yeah.
at Aviva Stadium.
Viva, who plays there?
Let's see.
Is it like a Rangers or Celtic, or is it something a little bit more underground?
Let's see. Um, uh, it's where the Irish soccer team plays, like the
Okay, so
national
it's their
team.
national
Yeah,
team.
and their rugby team.
I wonder how student tickets worked for that game.
They probably didn't.
I wonder if you could even you probably couldn't even go
Probably couldn't. I know for the
with,
longest
your
time
ticket
you had
rate.
to buy it as a ticket package where you bought like your airfare, your hotel, and everything through this package. But like
Oh.
it costs an arm and a leg to do that. Like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Um, but
Hmm.
the rest of the games kind of suck for week 0, but college football is starting. The NFL season starts in less than 2 weeks now. 2 weeks from me and you talking, there will be a football
Yeah.
game on within 3 hours.
Yeah, and a week from when the listeners are listening to this will be in Brazil,
No, 2
which is
weeks.
what? Oh, 2 weeks.
2
Yeah, that's
weeks.
right. 2 weeks. My bad.
2
I'm
weeks.
jumping the gun, man. I'm
We
really
are
excited
not
for the for
we are
the
not pre-recording this 2 weeks in advance.
Imagine. You have
Premier
content
League.
for the next year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Saved
Premier
up.
League season is underway. It started last weekend. As you know, if you listened to the podcast. If you didn't, go listen to the Premier League season preview. I think we had some decent takes about some teams, at least looking at week 1. And the
Yeah.
MLB playoffs are just over a month away. It's really getting in motion. It
Yeah.
really is.
I'm loving where we're at right
Yeah.
now.
I know I didn't fully state this last week during our NFC South preview, but false confidence season is at an all-time high for me right now. It has come
Mm.
early. I don't know why. I think it's the mixture of these late offseason moves by the Falcons. And then I'm seeing this report that Kirk Cousins is bringing the best out of Kyle Pitts.
Uh-oh.
I'm hearing mixed reviews, but some positive about DJ Uiagalelei at Florida State. You know, I'm seeing a lot of college football playoff predictions having Florida State in there. The Braves
Uh,
suck. I'm not getting anything about the Braves, but the false confidence for football is at an all-time high right now.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
So
Um,
I'm excited because this is when it starts heating up. Whenever I start when I go to bed thinking about who's going to be the best defensive player on the Detroit Lions, that's when I know football season started. And that's what
yeah,
I did last night. Last night I went to bed thinking, who is going to stand out on the Detroit Lions defense? And that's something we'll be talking about today. Uh,
yeah.
but
I think it's
it's that time of
interesting
the
for
year.
me. It is that time of the year. For me, it's opposite. At least when it comes to the Steelers, because obviously you're in false confidence mode with the
Yeah.
Falcons. I'm at an all-time low with how the Steelers like preseason has been going.
Yeah.
Like Justin Fields looks so much better than Russell Wilson, but altogether the offense is the worst I have probably
It's
seen
so
it
bad.
since Big Ben left. Yeah, it's terrible.
You guys
It
need a
is
wide receiver
god
so
awful.
badly.
Yes. Now all these Steelers fans accounts, I guess going back to the false confidence, they're posting pictures of CeeDee Lamb and like
Yeah.
88 black and gold. Jamar
Nice
Chase has
try.
been in there a couple times. Dude.
Yeah. Well, you guys are
And
not getting Jamar Chase because a report came out this morning. He wants 4 years, 160. Uh, so don't, honestly.
yeah.
You probably want to trade for Ayuk, but I think they're reaching a deal, them and the
Yeah,
49ers.
because
So,
fucking Jerry Rice's ass had to get in there and be like, "Hey, you know who I am? You know what team I played
yes,
for?"
correct.
So, yeah,
Okay, well
shout out Jerry Rice.
we got plenty of things to talk about today. So we'll start with an MLB recap, which just a little, I guess, scheduling update or episode update. Starting not next week, but the week after, we're going to be leading off with the NFL every episode. Then we'll do MLB, then Premier League, and the rest of soccer stuff. So just for everybody
Yeah.
who wants to remember the flow of the episodes, once the NFL season starts, it goes right back to that top spot in the lineup. But for now, we'll keep it there at the second spot. And we will start with the MLB for this week and next week. We've also got Premier League weekend, the first official Premier League weekend of the season, at least on the podcast. And then questions time, which Nathan did turn in early. He sent in the
No
questions
way.
on Reddit. Still haven't seen anybody else do it. Put him in about 1:30. Very timely. I did have to text him.
Wow.
I did text him, but he got him in. If you would like to submit your own questions for us to read on Questions Time, join the Reddit. It's
Please
right
do.
here down on the bottom of the screen. Luke, if you point directly down with your right hand, you'll get it. Nope. Miller, closer
This
to your
way?
face. Yeah, right there. That's right. That's the beginning.
Oh,
Right
oh.
there. Yep. r/2nd AND short. That's how you're going to submit all the questions. Go on there to Reddit, submit your questions, anything. Even maybe you're listening to this episode and you're like, oh, you guys didn't talk about this guy in the NFC North. Put it there too. And maybe we'll talk about him
Let us
next
know.
week during questions time. So literally anything. Well, not anything, but anything.
Not anything but anything.
Of course, follow us on all of our social media accounts. Feel free to DM us questions there if you don't use Reddit. You can get those social accounts at the bottom of the screen as well. And of course, if you're on the YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, share as well. Always share the
All that good
podcast.
stuff.
I haven't told you guys this recently, but if you're listening on the podcast platforms or on YouTube, show it to your dog. Show it to your cat. I don't care. Show it to your aunt. I'm sure your aunt is going to be so excited about where the Chicago Bears are going to be out this season. And she's got to hear what me and Luke have to say about Caleb Williams. So you got to show it to her.
Obviously.
You can't let her miss out on this preview about how much I love Dontavian Wicks.
Oh man, we're gonna get a lot of Packers glazing on this episode. I know that.
Not too much. More than last year. More than last year. I think on your side for sure. Maybe not on my side. Maybe equal, if not more on my side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a lot to say about the Packers, but we'll get there.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, let's start in the MLB though. And we'll start with, I guess, kind of sad news, but I'm happy for the guy. Joey Votto has officially retired from baseball.
Yeah, got ejected his final MLB game ever too, which is awesome.
That's a good way to go.
I love him.
Let's be honest.
It is a great way, and it's his way.
Yeah.
That is the most Joey Votto thing to do.
Yeah, and his like videos and stuff announcing it were great. Like he was literally just like in a parking lot taking a video of himself and was like, "That's it. I'm retiring from baseball. It's like, okay. And like he tweeted, he was driving to the stadium and the Uber driver asked, "Are you a player?" And he said, "No." And that's it.
Yeah.
That was the tweet. So, little fun fact about Joey Votto: if he decided to come out of retirement, he could go 0 for 477 and still have a higher lifetime on base percentage than Tony Gwynn.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
insanely
Yeah,
good on base percentage for Joey Votto.
shout out Joey Votto. He really, one of those guys that I think kind of gets underlooked as far as like the complete package at first base.
Yes.
Just the
Yes.
hitter, the defense, he could do it all.
Yeah, and like he's gonna. I would say he's a Hall of Famer. Scott Rowland made it in, so surely Joey Votto can make it in.
Right? Yeah.
I believe Joey Votto has passed Harold Baines in WAR, which I believe Harold Baines is the line. If you have more WAR than Harold Baines, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, is that the cutoff
Yeah,
there?
and Harold Baines is
Harold
in the Hall
Baines.
of Fame, and apparently I'm pretty sure I could be wrong about this, but like everybody or almost everybody with more career WAR than Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. Despite
Hmm.
Joey Votto retiring, the Reds still very good. Not very good, but they do good things. And the thing that they did yesterday was be the first team ever to have 4 players on the same lineup hit a home run and steal a base in the same game.
Wow.
Yeah, so they hit 4 home runs, they stole 4 bases, and of course, Ellie De La Cruz was one of the players promptly. He was joined by Jonathan India, Spencer Steer, and Noelvi Marte. All 3 of them, or all 4 of them, getting 1 home run and 1 stolen base in a game. They won like 11 to
Wow.
7.
Yeah, it just kind of it goes back to that, thing that we keep talking about where the MLB is just so much more athletic than it ever
Yeah,
has been. So you have guys that can hit homers and steal bases. So I
yeah,
like to see that. And the Reds have a lot of that on their team.
yeah. Well, in history, the Reds have had a lot of that. So this performance that Ellie had put him at 60 stolen bases and 22 home runs. So making him the 5th player to reach 20 home runs and 60 stolen bases in a season. He joins last year, Ronald Acuna, of course, as well as Ricky Henderson 3 times. Ricky Henderson did it in 85, 86, and 90. And he also joins 2 fellow Reds, 1986 Eric Davis and Joe Morgan twice in 1973 and 1976. So he's the 5th player ever to do it, and he's the 3rd Red.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, hitter friendly ballpark, but still.
Yeah, we'll let it slide.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I would assume you saw this with as many Yankees accounts as you follow and keep track of. What's up with this little league coach from Staten Island? Did you see about this?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay,
I didn't read into it.
I've got an article up with a couple of quotes.
Well,
Um,
do educate me,
so
please.
so the Yankees did like fire back at this guy with like
I did see
they were
that.
pretty pissed, and I like it
Yes.
because this guy's a dick. It seems like at least, and he was particularly throwing shade at Aaron Judge of all people.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
and I've got quotes here. How about turning around or wave to New York and the kids that think you are a hero? They are the ones who pay your salary. First of all, 14, 12-year-olds from Staten Island are not paying for Aaron Judge's salary. I'll tell you that right
Wow.
now. Well, first of all, tax dollars don't pay their salary. And those 12 tickets for those 12 kids or 13 kids, whatever, maybe an inning's worth of Aaron Judge's salary was paid.
Yeah.
Maybe not even.
Exactly.
Maybe an at
Yeah.
bat. One at bat.
Yeah. One footstep,
Yeah.
one stride.
Which, okay, look, this is stupid because I saw a shitload of pictures and a shitload of video of the Yankees interacting with players at the Little League World Series. They were on
Mm.
buses with players, I believe from South America. I could be wrong. But for some reason, I think I remember seeing that. And then um, the Yankees put out quite a very professional way of going about this, where I would have just been like, "Shut the fuck up." The Yankees put out a great statement saying, "Our entire roster spent the day in Williamsport connecting with as many little leaguers as they possibly could prior to our game, including the team from Staten Island. We commend all of our players for devoting their complete attention to the hundreds of kids who literally walked step by step alongside them from the moment the Yankees landed in Williamsport through the entirety of the evening. Our players were unequivocally committed to making the experience what it was intended to be, a once in a lifetime opportunity for young baseball players and their families from around the world to have meaningful and genuine interaction with some of the major league's greatest players."
There you go.
You can't argue with that. Look, I understand that a team from New York City, outside of New York City, whatever, Staten Island, would like the Yankees to show them more attention. That's not
Yeah.
the point of this.
No.
The point of it is for the Little League World Series. It is not for the New York Little League World Series team.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
if you are like, "Oh, show them a little more attention," no. They're not there to show favoritism. They're not rooting for somebody in the Little League World Series. They are there because they're playing a game in Williamsport, and the MLB has set it up to where the teams, and I believe they played the Pirates. I could be wrong. I genuinely can't remember who they were playing on Sunday. But they were just in Williamsport to play a game and leave. And they did that
Yeah.
as a gesture to be respectful and give these kids a unique experience that not many other kids would get. And
Yeah.
for a coach of anybody, a coach who's coached this little league team for a suspiciously long time, to be
How long has
that
he been
old
the
of a
coach?
man around that young of children, he's been doing it for like 10 years.
Oh no.
You got to start questioning things. You
Yeah.
have to.
I
I'm
think we
not
were playing the
accusing anybody.
Tigers.
Not accusing anybody.
Yeah,
But it's questionable to coach little league at that point in your life. Um,
definitely. But like
yeah.
I said, I think we were playing the Tigers.
Oh, the Tigers. Yes,
In
you're
that
right.
game.
You're right. The
Yeah.
Tigers.
Was it the game where we lost in the walk off or to a walk off?
I don't know.
Pretty sure we lost in a walk off on that game.
I just know it was in Williamsport last Sunday, or this past Sunday.
Yeah. That was
Um,
wild. I mean, like you can definitely tell that manager's just trying to like write something up just to kind of like create like a
Storyline.
like a media frenzy,
Yeah.
yeah, a headline basically.
Yeah.
And the Yankees just respectfully shit on him.
Yeah, and it's well
So,
deserved.
yeah.
So let's raise up the Yankees. Well, mainly Aaron Judge. It seems like we can't go a week without talking about how good he is, but he's been just that good. He's been
It's been
unbelievable.
wild, dude.
So in 2022, through 127 games, he was batting 295, 396 on base, and a 661 slugging with 49 home runs and 109 RBIs. Through 127 games this season, he is batting 334 with a 465 on base and a 722 slugging with 47 home runs and 117 RBIs.
That is just ridiculous.
Yeah, the last player that was not linked to steroids to have this high of a slugging percentage in a full season was Ted Williams in 1957.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron Judge is
Um,
also on pace for 60 home runs this season. If he reaches that, he'd become the third player in MLB history to have multiple seasons of 60 or more, joining McGuire and Sosa.
Wow.
So that's some good company.
Incredible
Um,
list.
and kind of surprising that Bonds has the most ever in a season and only surpassed 60 one time.
Yeah, that was probably the couple of times he looked at the syringe and was like, "Nah, I got it
Well,
today."
he played for like 24 years and just like hit
Yeah.
50 every year.
Yeah, which isn't bad.
Yeah, like it always
any means.
boggles my mind that Barry Bonds played during my lifetime.
Yeah, I actually how long did you say he played?
I think he played I don't think he played 24 years, but I think he played all the way through the 90s. And then
Yeah.
I want to say or halfway through the 90s and he retired in like 2009.
No way Barry Bonds retired in 2009.
Barry Bonds retired in 2007. Okay, so yeah, he did play all the way through the 90s. 1986 to 2007, so 22 years. So I was pretty close. And he had 762 home runs. He was hitting 41 home runs a season for his career. The
My gosh.
162 game average, 41 home runs.
He was an 8-time Gold Glove Award winner?
Yeah, yeah, he had a solid
What?
glove. And like,
Wow.
yeah, his baseball reference looks unbelievable.
He was wha he was a he won it 4 times in a row through 1990 to 94.
Yeah. He was also
Wait, would that
stealing
technically be
a lot of bases up until like 1999. Yeah,
yeah,
he was
that is
stealing 20
ridiculous.
plus every year.
Dang, maybe the home runs kinda do him a little bit of a disservice there. He could do really
Yeah,
anything
well, and he walked like nobody's business. The guy led the league in walks like
all the
7, 8
time.
times in his career, maybe 10.
Jesus.
And he has the most walks of all
Wow.
time. And the most intentional walks, of course. He did notably get
Yeah.
intentionally walked 120 times in 2004. That's
And dude,
unbelievable.
he would have been, like, almost 40 at that
Dude,
time too.
that's more walks than Aaron Judge has RBIs right
That's ridiculous.
now. Intentional
That is
walks, not even just
awesome.
walks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
Another Aaron Judge fact, real quick. He has a higher slugging percentage at 722 this season than the MLB's average on base plus slugging.
Jesus.
So his slugging is higher than the average OPS, which is 714.
That is wild.
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
this also happened in a Yankees game, but this was against the Guardians. Jose Ramirez got struck out by Luis Hill on a pitch that hit him in the thigh on a horrible swing call by the third base umpire. I don't know if you saw
Uh-oh.
this one, but
I did not.
I think he was about 3 inches from breaking the plane on this swing that he check swung,
Uh-huh.
and they called it a strike, and it was strike three. It literally hit him in the hip, or like hit him in the thigh.
Oh, wow.
Like, a nasty pitch by Luis Hill. But Jose Ramirez did what he was supposed to, which was give it a look and stop. And he stopped, and it was not a swing, and they called it a strike.
Yeah, I mean, it happens sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Um,
happens.
but yeah, not much else to build upon with that one. Bobby Witt, we'll talk about him for a second, is the first player this season to reach 9 F WAR. It's
Hmm.
insane that he is technically more valuable than Aaron Judge this season. But it's because his defense has been so good on top of his fantastic offense. He's hitting 400 at home this season, which is unbelievable. So the last player to be hitting 400 at home with at least 275 plate appearances was Barry Bonds in 2004, which we just talked about. 2004 was a good year.
Yeah.
uh, before it was before Bobby Witt and Barry Bonds, it was 4 straight Rockies players because they clearly have an advantage
Yeah.
of hitting very well at home. But yeah, it's been 20 years since a player has hit 400 at home with at least 275 plate appearances, and Bobby Witt is the one to do it. But that does not change the fact that Ben Joyce put him in a body bag. Ben Joyce had a unbelievable pitch
Uh,
sequence, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, against Bobby Witt Jr., or maybe top of the ninth. I don't know who the home or away team was. But Ben Joyce threw 105, 105, 103, and struck Bobby Witt out on 3 pitches to end of the game.
dude,
Unbelievable.
Ben Joyce is incredible. I still like
Yeah.
I recently like went and suck out that freaking that splinker that he
Yeah.
threw.
Yeah.
That is still that's one of the most craziest things I've ever seen.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Okay, please go back and watch him in college at Tennessee.
Oh, I bet that was just not
Watching him
fair.
pitch throughout that College World Series run was unbelievable. They didn't win, but
Oh
he
yeah.
was unbelievable. Um, Yesterday, we were just speaking about Rockies players a couple minutes ago. Yesterday was the 1,160th game that Bud Black has managed the Rockies. So that makes him the most games managed in club history, which that's a little under 10 years. 10 seasons. Why?
As
the
I'd say, when have they
Rangers
been good?
the Rangers have not done anything in years. Like I
Yeah.
think they made it to the wild card with Arenado in like 2017. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since the Rockies have done anything. But I I don't know if it's Bud Black's fault cuz like the whole franchise sucks. Players, management, upper management,
Fans.
ownership, like fans, everything about that team sucks. So
Uh-huh.
maybe it's not the manager's fault, or this is just their way of being like, we're blaming it on the players.
Yeah.
This is that's how I see this. If Bud Black still has a job this far on, you're blaming it on how bad your players are
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, it has to be. Has to
It's
be.
unbelievable. Meanwhile, the Mariners fired Scott Service, and they're literally in a position to make the playoffs right now. But that chance is very much fleeting quickly. We have talked endlessly about the Mariners' offensive problems. Obviously, something needed to change. Despite the fact that they started off the season great, the last 2 years have been far better than we've ever seen from the Mariners, or not ever, but far better than we've seen from the Mariners in 20 years. So
Mhm.
Scott Service was a big part of that, but they also needed somebody needed to be the sacrificial lamb here,
Yeah.
and it only made sense because it wasn't the whole team wasn't playing bad. It was the key hitters and the offense was so bad, and you can kind of chalk that up to the manager because he brought on the hitting coach or whatever, however you want to put it. He's the scapegoat here.
Yeah.
And this is just supposed to light a fire under their ass. I think is this move. It's unfortunate
Yeah.
for Scott Service because it's really hard. Like baseball and it is very different from a lot of other sports. Like you will see a lot of inside hires in baseball for managers. It's really hard to get fired mid-season, especially you got a month and a half to go and you're just kind of waiting until the next guy gets fired.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
it's not the easiest thing to just go out and get another job. Like you really have to be an impressive coach that was down on his luck and got fired to get another job, or you're going to end up being an assistant somewhere.
Yeah.
But
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah,
With managers in baseball, you're right. It is very unique compared to other sports. If you're Chelsea, you just get a new one every year.
yeah, and
No.
maybe that'll work sometime.
Yeah.
Hasn't yet.
I-
um,
uh,
speaking of
hmm.
the Mariners' struggles, Logan Gilbert has a record of 7-9 this season, despite having a WHIP of .88.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The last
That,
qualifying MLB pitcher to have a losing record in a season with a sub .9 WHIP was Ed Walsh in 1910 for the White Sox.
yeah.
So
No
the
better
run
way to back
support,
up the fact
yeah,
that their offense has been bad.
yeah, the
Yeah.
run support is historically bad. Honestly, the run support is as bad as it has been in 114 years. Unbelievable.
Oh no.
Um, let's talk about some good pitching though. Logan Webb went 7+ for the 15th time this season.
Ow.
And this time it's the third start in a row that he has gone 7+. This time around, 8 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts on 93 pitches, 65 of those being strikes. And he still got a no decision, and the Giants blew it against the White Sox.
Oh man.
Like
uh,
that's bad run support.
yeah,
You
that's
go
very,
8
very bad.
fucking innings throwing stellar baseball, and it's a 2-2 game when you get pulled out after the 8th and your team blows it. They lost like
Yeah.
6-2.
Yeah, Logan Webb has actually been fantastic this year, and
Yeah.
I have not heard much about him at all.
He always is under the radar.
Yeah.
He always is. And speaking of the NL West in general, they are killing it since the All-Star break. The NL West is a combined 40 games over 500 since the All-Star break.
Wow.
Their teams are 94 and 54 combined. That's a 635 winning percentage. No other division in baseball has a winning record over that span.
Yeah, and I mean it's the Padres, Diamondbacks, and Dodgers are
Yeah.
still right there. In
Yeah.
fact, kind of to bounce off of that, once it gets closer to playoff time, this is going to have to be a focused division
Oh,
for us
yeah.
because this
Oh,
one's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. And once September rolls around, we'll probably be doing weekly playoff picture updates. So um,
Yeah.
definitely come back here and listen to that. The rest of this stuff, kind of just like quick facts, some small things. DJ LeMahieu has a 49 WRC plus, um, which for those people that do not understand advanced analytics, if there's a plus at the end, the league average is 100. He is at
Yeah.
49. There's only two players that have remained on their active rosters with a worse WRC plus with a minimum of 200 plate appearances this season. That's Brandon Drury and Javi Baez. Not guys you want to be
Yeah.
associated with.
Yeah. DJ LeMahieu also he's on a 6-year, $90 million
Yeah.
contract right now.
Yep. Getting paid, doing nothing.
Doing
Like,
Oh man.
honestly, if he was doing nothing, that would at least be like getting a hit every so often.
No. Yeah.
Like, he's doing something. It's like striking out and like grounding out into double plays.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This top headline is Yankees should be concerned with DJ LeMahieu's future. Yeah.
No shit.
Think? You fucking think?
uh,
Oh man. He
that's
would be the perfect
crazy.
player for the Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah. He's done it before. Um, the
Yes.
Yankees and Guardians had the longest game of the season the other night, 4 hours and
Mhm.
4 minutes. And the biggest
Mm.
factor in that was the combined 32 batters left on base.
Holy cow.
It's unbelievable.
And that went into extra
32.
innings, right?
I would assume so. To go 4 hours,
Yeah.
it almost has to. But yeah, 32 runners left on base is
Damn.
outstanding.
So you have super long innings without any runs,
Yeah.
basically, is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bases loaded. Um, sure there was a noble tiger in the mix, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
trying to see. I'm not sure. Was it yesterday's game or was it the day before?
I think day before yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause yesterday was 8-1 Yankees and 9. Yeah, finally after 12 ended up. So, you know, you added 3 more innings to the game. That essentially adds an hour. Cuz obviously everything else added plenty more time cuz like what we've been looking at this year is like 2.5 hours I think has been pretty average runtime, so they went about an hour and a half long, which is pretty crazy now.
Oh
Um
yeah,
For
definitely.
sure. But yeah, the Guardians ended up winning at 9-5. But yeah, the Guardians had 20 runners left on base. The Yankees had 12, but the Guardians ended up winning that. And in the 124 years of the franchise history for Cleveland, they've only had 10 games in which they've stranded more than 18 runners. Um, and only 3 of those have taken place, or sorry, 3 of those 10 games have taken place in the last 55 years.
Wow.
So they've done a pretty good job of avoiding that, but they
Yeah.
did not 2 days ago. um,
Man.
I saw an interesting quote from Michael King talking about Jackson Merrill and his impact on the Padres outside of just being an offensive killer. Michael King said, he's 21 years old. Everything he does is baseball. It's not like he has a family that he goes home to and kids that he goes and talks to. He gets to the field and he's so happy to be here and talks about how we're all his best friends and we're just having fun.
I love that.
That's a great mentality. and it's
Yeah.
certainly winning games for the Padres. Michael King continued saying, now me sitting here having a bad outing, I look at Jackson and I'm like, that's the mentality I need to have. It's just his contagious mentality. We go out, we're playing a kid's game, we're loving each other, which that sounded weird. And it's a lot easier game when you're playing for your brothers. That's the kind of that's what we want to see. That's the attitude we like to see in baseball.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dang, so it took them Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, all to figure out that it was all going to end up being because of Jackson Merrill
Yeah, a
when your
21 year
team
old.
was actually good.
It took
Yeah.
a 21-year-old to get to that point. And Jurickson
Oh
Profar,
man. Yeah,
10 years
yeah,
into
he's
his
been
career.
crazy. Did you see that throw that he made that I sent you?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
He's just been doing
Crazy,
unbelievable shit all year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this because I don't know how closely you follow it, but John Boy and Jake on the Talking Yanks podcast, I know I'm sure you're aware that they bring on Aaron
Oh,
Boone
for
all the
sure.
time.
Yeah.
And Aaron Boone got heated this week with
Ooh,
them.
okay. I
He
did
was
not hear
not
about
happy
this.
about it because John Boy got really into it about Volpe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was questioning the Yankees' decision to keep Volpe up last year at the end and this year throughout the year, despite his offensive struggles. He
Yeah.
has statistically been one of the worst hitting shortstops in the league between the end of last year and this year. And Boone just kept trying to put the argument back on defense. He kept being like, well, his defense makes him a complete player and all this shit. And constantly being like, it's not linear, you know. Once he gets the offense figured out, he's got it figured out. Well, that means it's linear, you idiot. Like
Yeah.
he kept saying contradicting shit, and then like the best thing that John Boy brought up was the offensive numbers. In the last 200 plate appearances, Anthony Volpe has a 241 on base percentage and a 582 OPS.
Not good.
That is like, that's what you send somebody down for at his age. You send somebody down
Yeah.
for that, especially over 200
Yeah.
plate appearances. If you go in a shorter time frame, since the beginning of August, he's 22nd amongst all qualified shortstops in on base percentage with a 264. And if he's 22nd, that's not good because there's only 24 qualified shortstops in August. And he's only ahead of CJ
Yeah.
Abrams, who has been in a historic slump, and Ezekiel Tovar, who is a Rocky. So that one explains itself.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? I
Um,
know you love Volpe and you defend him very often, but do you think
Yes.
that maybe he could use just a few weeks in AAA to get some close attention on the hitting? Because look, he's not the primary focus when he's in New York.
Yeah.
If you send him
I don't know,
down
like-
for a couple of weeks and he can be the primary focus of the hitting coaches and that staff to just rebuild him, do something with the hitting. Because the glove's there. We know the glove's there. You can throw him at shortstop and let him do whatever in these games. But every day, the focus needs to be on his hitting because something's
Yeah.
got to change, especially heading into October.
Yeah. I don't know. Volpe's one of those guys where like the stats definitely point to like maybe he could be sent down to where he can become kind of a, focus for the hitting coaches, but at the same time, like I still think that like with a couple of times when he went on that crazy streak where it was like over 20 games of getting on base, we've seen him have spurts where he has been good at hitting. He can make huge plays defensively, maybe not consistently, but he always is good for a big player too.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot of those kind of like smaller stuff just to keep his head barely over the water to not being sent down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's kind of where Boone is coming
I
from,
think
but
it
also
is.
at the same time, like if you want to get the best out of this guy, instead of just kind of letting him like struggle, figure it out, struggle, maybe send him down.
That's my thinking.
That's a great question.
That's my thinking. Is stop letting him be back and forth every week. Look, Aaron Boone, I get it. He's your guy. He's literally your shortstop. He said he's the best shortstop in the league defensively. It's not true. It's
I
really
think he
not.
could be.
He could be. He's up
He's
there.
not.
He's a very
Yeah.
good glove. Not the best defensive shortstop, but he is up
No.
there. I understand that argument. You can't tell me he's even in the top half of hitters for shortstops. And shortstop is not a good hitting
No.
position this season. And it hasn't been for
Wasn't last
years.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a rather weak position for hitting for a majority of time in general, comparatively.
Mhm.
It is a defensive position. But when your offense is hurting the team, that's when it's a problem. And I think his offense is hurting the team in long periods of time. I know you said like he's got spurts where he does good things, like that 20 game on base streak. But 200 plate appearances with an under 250 on base percentage is unbelievably bad.
Horrible. Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
you got to do it now because you're not going to do it in September when you really need him.
Yeah. That's a very good
Because you
point.
need him for this final push. So if you send him down for 2 weeks and he's back for the second week of September through the September and he's good to go for the playoffs, you've got yourself a key contributor for the playoffs. It can't
Yeah.
just be Judge and Soto leading the charge. They've tried it. It never works. Obviously, they didn't have Soto in the past, but they've tried sending their team off into the playoffs with just Aaron Judge or just, Judge and somebody else. It doesn't work. So
No, you're exactly
they got to
right.
figure something out.
I think that's actually a fantastic point because the Yankees in in past years, especially more recently, have sent very good teams to the playoffs. A couple ALCSs and stuff like that. But I think exactly what you said. What we're lacking is like the Evan Carters from last year
Yeah,
to come in and step up and just be a dog. Because
exactly.
really, I feel like every time we've gotten to the playoffs recently, like our stars have kind of wavered because all of the focus is on them.
Yeah, look, Judge
Oh,
isn't allowed to have a bad game in the playoffs because nobody else is going to pick up the slack. That's what's
yeah, and
happened
if he does,
every
we
year.
lose.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what's happened every year. Is if he has 2 bad games, you probably lost because nobody else did anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can't have that if you want to win games in the playoffs. That's what the Orioles ran into last year. They had top tier guys and they had a lot of really good role players. But when the top tier guys didn't perform, the young players that were left on the roster couldn't pick up the slack.
Yep.
So you can't have it simply because like
No.
you said, Evan Carter, the Rangers had guys throughout that lineup just showing up. Yes, they had a 3-headed monster, truly, with
Yeah.
Seager, Simeon, and Garcia. But when you just like randomly throw in, a good game by Leody Tavares or a fantastic showing out of the bullpen by somebody,
Those are the difference makers.
that's the difference maker. Same thing for
Yeah.
the Diamondbacks getting all the way there and upsetting numerous opponents throughout the playoffs. That's how they got to the World Series. So, I'll get off my soapbox real quick, but
That was a great Volpe discussion.
that
Right
was a
there. I
very good
like that.
discussion. Do you see that Backyard Sports is back? That's what they're saying.
Would you be mad at me if I said what is backyard
Like
sports?
backyard baseball. You don't
the
know, like Pablo
video
Sanchez.
game?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So it's
Let
not
me
out,
do some
but they put
research
out
here.
like a little teaser video with some new animation stuff, kind of teasing potentially a new backyard game.
Oh, yeah. I know what this is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I can only assume it's going to suck. I hate to say that because I really liked backyard baseball. I can only assume that this new iteration will be ass.
Yeah, the last one came out in 2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up briefly, but last thing, the World Baseball Classic 2026 tournament format and groups were revealed. A little early.
Let's go.
Just a year and a half early, but your pool A is going to be Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, Panama, and then a team that qualifies later. Pool B will have the United States, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and a team that will qualify later. Those games will be played in Houston. That Pool A will be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Pool C, which I think is an interesting one to watch out for. Japan, Australia, Korea, and Czechia plus a qualifier. Those will be played in Japan in Tokyo. And then Pool D, which I think is the maybe the strongest across the board. Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Netherlands, Israel, and then a team that will qualify later. Those are going to be played in Miami. Um, there are, obviously there's qualifying spots for a couple of nations, but Venezuela and Dominican Republic in the same group is OP.
I was just about to say that's
That's
wild. Yeah.
unbelievable. And same goes for, Puerto Rico and Cuba and Canada,
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
All being in the same one. United States, I think, gets a pretty easy pass in their pool with Mexico, Italy,
Unfortunately,
Great
yeah.
Britain. And then Japan, obviously fantastic, but you can't sleep on Korea or Australia.
No.
So, and also, I would love to just commend. I know Czechia is not going to win games. I would like to just commend the baseball culture in the Czech Republic that has developed over the past couple of years. They
Yeah.
love baseball over there, and I
Believe
respect
it
the
or not,
fuck
it
out of that.
exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that.
so that's gonna be really fun. We have like the initial schedule, which is kind of crazy. Um, so all the group play will be done from March 6th to March 11th, and your quarterfinal games will be played on the 13th and the 14th, and then your semifinals the 15th and 16th. And then your championship will be on the 17th. So back to back for the semifinal 2 winner playing in that championship game. Your 2 quarterfinals, one will be in Houston on the Pool A B side, one will be in Miami on the Pool C and D side. Championship game back at Lone Depot Park in Miami again.
And let's pray that the MLB teams will kind of get lax on, what players they want to keep and what players they'll actually play,
Yeah.
because the World Baseball Classic could be so much better
Yeah.
if everybody got to play.
But
So
also no Braves.
no Yankees.
Yeah, no Ronald Acuna. I'll
Yeah.
go out and say it. I actually no. No, he could do it. He can do it. He won MVP after. So
Yeah, that is true.
he's welcome. He's welcome to go do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I've got for the MLB. What you got?
Let me go to my Instagram. I kind of came on here. I didn't really hear a lot about baseball this week. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about my Braves experience from this
Yeah,
year.
please do.
I texted you. I had remembered that Whit Merrifield had gotten traded there, but when I saw him when they called out the lineup, I was like, "Oh shit, it's
Yeah.
Whit Merrifield. That's kind of cool." But then Gio Urshela, total surprise to me.
Yeah, that one happened,
I
I think, on Tuesday.
Yeah, but that was really cool to get to see like a former Yankee, probably the last like really good third baseman we've had. Sorry, Oswaldo Cabrera. I think you're on the
Josh
cusp,
Donaldson.
but eh, I love when you talk about him.
He was great for the Braves.
But
Shout out the bringer of rain.
yeah, Arcia's home run was awesome. I love that
Yeah.
guy.
So pissed that he stared down Harper. We can't be having that, dude.
No, you can't. It's like
Yeah.
looking at Michael Jordan. You
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
awaken the beast.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
only way that
Um,
I will accept staring down Bryce Harper is if we just knock them out of the playoffs. That's the only
yeah,
time you're allowed to do that.
yeah. Also, it was my second time seeing Aaron Nola.
Mm.
He's one of my
I
favorites
don't know
because
if I've
I
ever
have a
gotten to see him in
weird.
person.
Yeah. He's been a little bit quiet this year. The strikeouts aren't there, but like
Mhm.
he's been okay. Probably
Yeah,
not as good as Weaver
Wheeler is
or
really
Wheeler.
stolen
Sorry.
the show for the Phillies
Yes, he
pitching staff.
has.
Christopher Sanchez looks good too. Ranger, when
Yep.
he's healthy, has been good.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Um,
Phillies are a fun team to watch. I can
they are
say
a fun
that
team to
for sure.
watch. I actually have a weird connection to Aaron Nola. So,
Oh,
um, I don't. I hope I've told you this before. If I haven't, we're gonna go and disclose it on the podcast. But my best friend's cousin just married Aaron Nola, and I know they just had a kid
oh,
together.
I think you might have told
So
me that. Yeah.
Yeah, the buddy that I went with, he was wearing his powder blue Aaron Nola jersey
Yes.
with the signature on the number,
Nice.
which was really cool. And I've just heard that Aaron Nola is a great guy
That's
from
awesome.
my best friend. Like they've been to family outings, and he's just a chill dude,
Yeah.
just another
Well, and
guy
he's also
there.
got his
Yeah,
brother, Austin Nola, in the MLB.
that's right. And he also makes like $30 million a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've heard good things about Zach Wheeler as well. He's a relatively local guy. Um,
I was about to say, where's he from? Because I
he
heard Georgia
he
yesterday,
went
and
to
I
high
didn't know
school
where.
very close. I don't know why we bring this up rather often. Um, I can never remember. He's from Smyrna.
Hmm.
Um, he went to Mill Creek High School, and East
Oh,
Paulding,
okay.
I guess. Or no, he went to East Paulding. They were talking about. Um, he pitched a no hitter against Mill Creek in the playoffs. Um, that's on the first, like the second paragraph of his Wikipedia page. Kind of
Yeah.
insane. They put that there. But yeah,
Yeah.
went to East Paulding.
Um, yeah, I had a great time. I was sitting behind first base, which I've done a lot before. First
Fantastic.
base is yeah,
Fantastic.
because you get to see like up close and personal, like all those awesome like flashy double plays,
Yeah.
and
Which, like,
um,
where? Because me and Colin sat earlier this year. We watched Reynaldo Lopez's start. I don't remember
okay,
who it was against. Um, the Mets. It was against the Mets early in the season. And we were essentially we not behind the dugout, but we were the section up the stairs behind the section behind the dugout. And like we
yeah,
were like straight down, like if it was split into fourths, the right between the third and fourth section of the dugout, if you split it in
oh
quarters. If that makes sense.
nice,
Like
yeah.
3/4 of the way down the dugout. It was perfect view.
Yeah, we were in section 13,
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
also not down below, but one set of
Yep.
staircases up, and then just over to the right
Yeah.
a little bit. So kind of
Fantastic view.
towards the first
It's
baseline.
maybe
Yeah,
my
it's
favorite view that I've had.
I still haven't gotten to sit in the outfield though,
Oh,
and
the
I want to
outfield's
do it
pretty
in the
good.
nighttime
Yep.
or in the nighttime because
You
I
got
don't want to
to.
get sunburnt. But I would love to be in the outfield for a baseball game because I've never
Yeah.
done that
I'm going to
before.
be honest. For the Braves, I like right field above the bullpen, like right center, more
Oh
than I
yeah,
like out and left. I'm
okay.
not sure why, but I like it a lot more being over the home bullpen.
Yeah. But when I was looking across the field, I was telling my buddies like I've always wanted to sit in the outfield. I told them like right above the Quickcrete sign
Yeah.
in left
It's
field
not
would
bad.
probably be like where I would want to sit. But now after hearing you, I'm kind of curious
Yeah. So
as
me
to
and
like
me and Colin, we were playing the Dodgers 2 years ago, I think. Um, I think 2 years ago is when me and Colin went to a number of games in a season. And we were playing the Dodgers, and Cody Bellinger was in center, Mookie was in right. And like we were yelling at Cody Bellinger, and he heard us. But we were
yeah,
also literally like looking into the bullpen to see who was warming up,
yeah,
which was pretty sick
that's
as well.
sick.
And it was a great
Yeah.
view on top of it. And like there was a home run hit into the bullpen, which
Oh
was
wow,
pretty
like
awesome.
right by y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that was really all I had to say about the Braves game, and I guess I'll just finish it off with if you're not from Georgia, and you're here visiting, you really need to do yourself a favor and go,
Agreed.
catch a cheap Braves game and just go get drunk in the Battery afterwards. It is
I still haven't
one
done
of the
that.
coolest spots in Atlanta.
It's
Well,
one thing I haven't done.
I say that, but it's also $20 beers in the Battery,
Yeah.
so you got to
Yeah.
kind
You're
of
not
watch
getting
out for
that
that.
drunk.
No, no, you got a pregame for sure.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that was my last thing, and I got a couple of other baseball things.
Okay.
So not including the game today that the Yankees played, if they had a game today. I don't know if that 6-0 against Cleveland was today or yet. No, that was today.
That was.
So before the 6-0 win against Cleveland today, 8 of Soto's last 9 hits were homers,
Yeah. I saw that.
which is crazy. Just a wild stat there. And then did you see Randy Rosarina and Jack Flaherty get into it?
Yes. Yes. Bench is cleared. I
Yeah, that
don't know
was
what really happened. I saw like Randy like flew out.
yeah.
That's all I know.
So the first at bat that they admit on each other, Jack Flaherty actually hit him like kind of in
Gotcha.
the hip. And then while Randy Rosarena was flying out, Jack Flaherty had some words for him, and then the bench is cleared.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I mean, it's just a weird situation of like a new pitcher wearing number 0, and a very struggling, probably frustrated Randy
Yeah.
Rosarena, a part of that struggling offense that the Mariners have. But it was just, I mean, they just walked outside, kind of did that. It wasn't anything crazy, but
Yeah.
it was interesting to
Nobody
watch.
was swinging.
No, no, they didn't even get close to each other.
Yeah, that's typically
Honestly,
how
and
it goes.
that's another thing I've never seen in a baseball game. I've never seen the benches clear before.
I I don't know. I might have. Trying to think. I don't I don't think I've seen the benches clear. I think I've seen it get real close, but I don't
Yeah.
think I've seen it get cleared.
Like, imagine being a fan watching Ruben Odor just bitch slap Jose
That
Bautista. Could
would
you
have
imagine being
been
at that game?
amazing. Or even last
Absolutely
year,
wild.
Jose Ramirez knocking down Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
That would
that
have
one
been
was
awesome.
crazy too.
Tim
We'll
got
change up.
slept.
And then the last thing I have is Jesse Winker, now a Met. He hit his first home
Yeah.
run, and it was probably one of the most bizarre home run celebrations I've ever seen. Like, I
It
get
was a
it,
great
he
walk
was
off.
happy. Before he even made it to first base, he like is already yelling at his dugout. He's
It
not
was a
walking
walk
towards
off.
the base anymore. Slammed his helmet on the
Yeah.
ground. Like, it was he was pumped.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Can't wait for him to go back to sucking quickly.
Yeah, it's inevitable
He
actually.
always does. All right. Is that all we got for the MLB?
That was it.
Okay. Well, let's get into the NFC North preview.
Oh
Second to
boy.
last, the penultimate division preview of the year. I am so excited for football. I already talked about I was sitting here, or I was just laying in bed staring at the ceiling thinking about the Detroit Lions defense. Like that's
Okay.
that's where I'm at right now. I all
Yeah.
I can I'm living and breathing football at the moment. All I can think about is like Heisman odds and and who's gonna, who's gonna take back the first kick with these new kickoffs, whatever it may be. It's all I can think about, literally. And for us to almost be done previewing these just makes it that much more real. It's so close. Just
Yeah.
two more previews. But we can't get to the season without doing the NFC North preview. So let's start with our standings. Bottom to top, who you got?
Vikings are a lock in
Yep.
last place.
Yep.
And then I think it's gonna go Bears, Lions, and I
Ooh.
am not going to be wrong about the Packers ever
Okay.
again.
Okay.
I'm going to eat my words, and I think that they're
Good.
probably gonna win the division. Maybe not the best on paper roster, but that's
Yeah.
what I said last year. So
Yeah. I-
I think that they're probably gonna win the division this year.
Okay. I would love to say they're going to win the division this year. I don't.
Grayson,
I don't
no,
know if I can. They're way too young. Way
they
too
are
young.
young.
Like you got to think about it. Last year they snuck into the playoffs. Yes, Jordan Love played phenomenal, especially down the stretch, but they really did sneak into the playoffs. Now, almost every one of their wide receivers was a rookie, except Christian Watson, who was out for like the whole year, and he was in his second year of his career. The
Yeah,
defense severely injured. They were trading off good players at the deadline. Like they trade off Rasul Douglas at the deadline
yeah.
and still made the playoffs and made a good run and kicked the living shit out of the Cowboys in the
At home
playoffs.
too. It's like their first
Yeah.
home loss that whole year, right, for
Yeah.
the Cowboys?
And
Wild.
I I I don't know. I love what the Lions did this offseason. I do. I wish they would have added another wide receiver. I still don't think Amon Ra and then Jamison Williams and Khalif Raymond is enough. I'm
Mhm.
not believing in Jamison Williams personally. Um, so I have Vikings, Bears, Packers, Lions. Packers are obviously a dark horse because I think they're going to be right there. I think, like, to me, the Lions win 11 and the Packers win 10.
Yeah.
Or even like the
Yeah.
Lions win 12, Packers win 11. Like that's I see it being a very close race all the way to the end. I just think the veteran talent for the Lions is a huge factor on the offensive side. Jared Goff is just known for doing his job. Really. Like that's what he does, and he's done it for a couple of years now with the Lions, and he did it with the Rams. David Montgomery is such a fantastic, experienced running back that plays so well off of Jahmyr Gibbs. And then you add in Amon-Ra St. Brown, who probably has like a top 3 mentality in the NFL as a player. Just a strong mental player, despite the fact that he gets hurt like every week and
Yeah.
still plays every time. Like, if you haven't watched a receiver from last year, go watch that and tell me Amon-Ra is not the strongest player in the league mentally.
Yeah.
And then Sam Laporta, yes, he's coming back from the ACL. I still think he could be an impact player as soon as week 3. Even maybe before that. They're saying he's coming back to practice this week. Means he probably won't be 100% week 1. But by week 3, I think we could see him in midseason form. I love the upside and the experience and the talent of the Lions. The Packers have a lot to gamble on. We've only seen Jordan Love be good for 1 year, and he just got paid a bag. That doesn't always mean that you're going to go out and perform. Now, last year he got put on a prove it deal. Now he's really got something to prove because they paid him.
Yeah.
You do have a change at running back, but I think it's a super lateral move from Aaron Jones to Josh Jacobs. Because Josh Jacobs, if it's the Josh Jacobs we saw last year, it's a lateral move. Maybe worse. If it's Josh Jacobs 2 years ago, you just got yourself the leading rusher in the NFL.
Oh man, bro, 2 years ago that was crazy.
Unbelievable.
That was
Um,
insane.
but you still have a super young wide receiver core. It's super deep. I'll give him that. Like you could see, I think his name's Samori Torre. He might score 5 touchdowns this year. Like you have no idea
Yeah.
who's gonna just show up out of nowhere and catch a touchdown pass or, get a first down, whatever it may be. Like Bo Melton is like the 5th wide receiver on the depth chart, and he was getting big time catches last year, late in the season, clinching a playoff spot for them.
Yeah.
You never know where these Packers players are going to come from. The defense, they just got to get more consistent. I'll go ahead and say it. I'm buying very low, or I'm sorry, I'm selling on Jair Alexander, super low on him this season.
Mm.
After last year, I'm not a fan. So that's why I have the Lions over the Packers, but the Packers are still going to be there for sure. They're in the mix. And I think the Bears are taking a step forward. They have a claim to dark horse. They don't have a claim to being a favorite. They have a claim to the dark horse, but I think Caleb's inexperience mixed with kind of the looming concerns of Matt Eberflus. Like, yes, the second half of the season last year was great. You're not going to let me forget about it. I'm not going to forget what Matt Eberflus has done prior, where like people were asking for his job every week of his career up until like week 15 last year.
Yeah.
So that's enough for me to say that they won't win this division.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's your dark horses? I would assume the Lions.
No, mine's the Bears.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I didn't go with the Lions is because I feel like the Lions could obviously still win this division. So they're not a dark horse to me, but
That's fair.
Bears are. I think on paper, the Bears probably have the best team in this whole entire division. If
I
you're just
agree.
reading names,
I agree.
But with that many moving pieces and Matt Eberflus, who now we really don't know what to expect from him because it's the best team he's ever had, and like you said, there was a time where people were calling for his job every single week. But Caleb Williams looked really good in his preseason game. So did Roma Dunze.
Yep.
And I just feel like if the Bears, have all of their pieces come together, DeAndre Swift at running back, I feel like they could obviously win this division. But I don't think it's going to be that easy for them, so I can see them easily getting third place and maybe still even making the playoffs.
Yeah, I could probably say that they'll probably sneak in the playoffs as one of the last 2 wild card spots, I would say.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's where they'd fall in for me. Let's talk offensive player of the year. I'm going to start with
I'll
some. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna start with my
Oh,
Packers.
yeah. Go ahead.
I have only Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, but
Interesting.
by Josh Jacobs, I have in parentheses high ceiling, but the lowest of floors for that
Yes,
guy.
I very much agree. I don't
Yeah.
have him here. I actually, interestingly enough, I have Jordan Love, of course. I put Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed's going to be wide receiver one
Oh
early on.
Lord.
I'm buying.
Yeah.
I'm buying in on Jaden Reed. So heavy.
I, I think it's more. I'm more excited for Christian Watson out of their wide receivers than
Maybe,
anybody else.
maybe. I just I don't know. He's always hurt. Even his rookie
Yeah.
year was the hamstring. Now it's the everything else that's happened. Like it just doesn't seem like he's fully coming back from that hamstring yet either.
Yeah.
So you never know
I
when he's
just
going to
think
be there.
I just think I'm stuck on that just crazy touchdown run that he went on. I just don't think that's a fluke. But then again,
I
Chase
agree.
Claypool kind of had like a similar
That's true.
thing. I mean, I think Chase Claypool had like a 5 touchdown game against Philly
Yeah.
his rookie year. So who knows?
Yeah. Uh, I've, I've got some Lions. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course. I didn't put David Montgomery or Jameer Gibbs because they counteract each other too much.
Exactly. Yes.
I did,
Committee.
interestingly enough, I put Laporta if he is 100% by week 2.
Yeah.
And
I
that
I
means
don't
that makes him the second tight end in the entire NFL that I have put for offensive player of the year. Him and Kelsey. That's it.
no, and I completely agree with you. I think those are the only two guys that are capable of pushing for
And
that
he was a
award as
rookie
tight
last
end.
year.
And he was a rookie last year, yeah. I went
Unbelievable.
with Laporta and Amon Ra. I didn't go with Jared Goff though.
Okay. See, my thing with Jared Goff, he's always gonna throw for 300, 300, 300
Yeah.
a game, just about every time, man. He's good for it.
Just I just think he isn't flashy enough in the way that he plays, and his stats aren't really that flashy to be an offensive
That's
player of
fair.
the year.
But
But
but he puts up volume. I will give him that because he throws the ball
yes,
pretty often. Like he throws 30, 35 passes in a game. So he's
yeah,
gonna get the volume you need to put up those numbers. It's just every now and then, like we talked about, like he'd have a 3 interception game.
yeah. But
That's what hurts.
consistently, I feel like he probably is one of the best starting quarterbacks in the league at not turning the ball over, though.
Agreed. Agreed.
I
He just
mean,
has his days.
we were at a point last season where the Lions were so damn good. You and I were legitimately saying if Jared Goff does not throw an interception, they're going to win,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
I
wild.
remember that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Who you got from the Bears? I've got 3.
Uh, just DJ Moore.
Okay. I've got Caleb, just in case. I'm not gonna be wrong about him. That's what I want to do. If he's gonna be good, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be wrong. And then I have DJ or Keenan Allen. I don't know who's gonna establish themselves as the better wide receiver personally, but one of them
Here's the
will.
thing. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. It's just I feel like DJ Moore is leaps and bounds more likely than getting it from Keenan Allen or getting it instead of Keenan Allen because I genuinely cannot remember the last time Keenan Allen played a full season. I love the fact that he gained the 30 pounds over the offseason.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be great for him, but I'm not expecting him to play the whole season.
that's fair.
I think he'll probably get like a hamstring injury or something,
Yeah, and like he's
like he
32
normally
years
does.
old, so
And he's
I
32 years
understand
old,
that. But like,
exactly.
and look, he hasn't played like he played the full 16 4 times in his career. Last 2
Yeah.
years, 2022 was 10 games, 2023 was 13 games. But in 13 games last year, he had 108 receptions for 1,243 yards and 7 touchdowns.
He went for 1,200 yards last year?
Yeah, in 13 games.
When?
He was
When did
unbelievable
that happen?
over and over and over. He had like, I'll pull up his game logs, but like, I'm pretty sure he had numerous 150 games last year.
My bad. I must have
That's why
totally slept
that's
on
why I
Keenan
was kind of
Allen.
surprised that you were sleeping on him because I was like, okay, yeah, he didn't play a lot of games, which you're right about, but like he was fucking shit up, dude. And like he
Man.
only missed I think yeah, so he missed 4 games. And I think it was just the last 4 of the season, which Herbert was hurt too, so there was no use in coming back for those. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he had 215, 18 receptions for 215 against Minnesota.
Last season he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as we're done recording, I'm literally going to watch that game because I had no idea
And that was
he was
very
doing
early
that
in the
last year.
season. That was week 3 last year. He had 175 on 11 receptions, 2 touchdowns in a loss against the Lions. And that was with Easton Stick at quarterback, I believe. I could be wrong. I think that was late enough in the year that Easton Stick was in.
Wow.
No, Herbert was still there. Sorry. Um, but yeah, Keenan Allen. Yeah, so he had 2 games, 175 plus, and he had 5 games over 100 last year in 13 games.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Oh
Put
man.
some respect on Keenan Allen. I've got one Viking. It's Justin Jefferson.
And
For
that's
this,
what I
for
did
the
as
same
well.
reason that Garrett Wilson has been good for like 3 years, is why Justin Jefferson could be good this year. They're both wide receivers that are good enough. It doesn't matter who the fuck is at quarterback. And actually, I think both of them have probably caught passes from Sam Darnold. I don't know if it lined up in New York quite for Garrett, but it could have.
So
I don't think it did. I think Darnold might have already been in Carolina.
yeah, Zach Wilson would have been a Jet, pretty sure.
That's right.
Yeah, close though.
Yeah, very close. But
Um,
still, Sam Darnold is good, is a competent enough quarterback to throw Justin Jefferson the ball.
uh, just wait until we get to our surprise players. Sam Darnold.
Me too.
Yeah.
But we got to talk defense first. I'm starting with the Lions. I've got 3.
Oh, okay.
Like I told you, I was up late last night
I have
thinking about who I
2.
liked. Got Aiden Hutchinson. Do you have Aiden Hutchinson? Okay. Okay, good. I've got Carlton Davis III, the new acquisition from Tampa.
I don't have him.
Okay, and then I have Brian Branch coming off of the injury last year for his second year.
I'm surprised your other guys. So I had Hutch and Brian Branch. When you said 3, I thought you would have gone Jack Campbell.
I was
'Cause
close.
I thought about him for a while.
I was really close on Jack
Yeah.
Campbell. I'm high on him. I just don't think he's going to have a bigger impact than those guys.
I like the Carlton Davis pick. That's a
Yeah.
low key
Such a good
guy right
move
there.
that
Yeah.
people are forgetting about. Yeah, I think with Hutchinson, it's just a matter of he's a vicious pass rusher, and I know they didn't really improve the defensive line, which I was hoping they would.
Jay Reader.
Yeah, DJ Reader was not bad. But my God, did they overhaul the secondary?
Oh yeah.
Like
Big time.
between getting Carlton Davis and like their 3 best picks of the draft were all in the secondary. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it's
honestly,
incredible.
an incredible draft class that I will be talking more about. What about the Packers? I've only got 1.
I have Jair. I still like Jair.
I have Xavier
No.
McKinney, and that's it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
I
he's
love
logged
Xavier
some solid
McKinney.
seasons in with the
Yeah.
Giants, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
and look, I'm not like I don't hate Jair Alexander, and I certainly don't think he's a bad corner. But I think he's just doing the same thing that every other great corner has done in the recent, like in the last 10 years, which is be really good for like 3 years and then fall off. But not be bad, just not be top 3. Everybody does it. You can't be an elite corner for more than like 4 years in today's NFL because guys just figure you out. And we have the most athletic wide receivers we've maybe ever seen. It is impossible to sustainably be a top 3 or top 5 corner in the NFL right now.
I think you could say the same though about as far as athleticism goes on the corner, like on the
Yeah, of
defensive side of the
course.
ball too, because like corners are now, they're over 6 foot, they're tall, they're fast.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, even AJ
No,
Terrell can get paid.
Dude, I could sit here and name corners that were good and then fell off all day long, and
Yeah.
Darrell Revis was one.
Yeah.
Darrell Revis was not good his whole career. Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, Champ Bailey, Sauce Gardner, so far at least.
Yeah, he
We've
took
seen
a
a
little bit of a
decline.
step back. He was still very good
Uh,
last year.
Stephon Gilmore was a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
he's in
now
this division.
he's a Viking, yeah, and I love that pickup too, by the way. I do not mind
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
just I'm getting out on Jair Alexander before he drops. That's how I'm seeing it right now.
I like that.
But yeah, I do have Xavier McKinney for the Packers. Got this is crazy. I have 4 Bears. Their defense is fucking stacked.
I have 2, but they are very stacked.
I've got Tremaine Edmonds, my only linebacker on the list.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat. He was an animal last year.
Mhm.
Jaquan
Mhm.
Brisker. I've really liked him his first 2
I
years.
was so
Yeah.
close to
And
adding
then
him to this list. Yeah.
I think Jalen Johnson is coming to take the spot of Jair Alexander. I think Jalen
Yeah.
Johnson is on the rise. Jair is on the fall. That's how I'm seeing it right now.
That's fair because I love Jalen Johnson as well. He's a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
Um, my only 2 were Jalen and Montez. And one stat that I wanted to bring up about Montez that personally I think kind of got overlooked last year is when he was a Commander, he had 6 sacks, and when he became a Bear, he had like 6.5,
Yeah.
or it
And I
was the
think
other
he
way
led
around.
both teams. in
Yeah,
sacks
ended
at
up
the end of
leading
the
both
year.
teams in
Yeah.
sacks. So I just feel like a full season of a still relatively young Montez Sweat in probably the best defense he's ever been on, and he
Yeah.
played on a good defensive line in Washington. Montez Sweat could go crazy this year. I'm
Agreed.
very high on him.
Agreed. I got 1 Viking. The only Viking
I have
that has
nobody.
ever deserved to be on this, and it's Harrison Smith. That
Nah,
man, always good. I don't care. He
I
is a
already,
model
I
of
already put him in the
consistency.
washing machine.
He is
He's
a
already in the
model
washing
of
machine.
consistency. I do have a number of sleepers, like a number of surprise players on the Vikings defense, and a rookie as well. But let's start with the rookies. I've only got 3 because I think a lot of them are just going to have to sit around and play their role to start.
I have a couple.
Okay, I've got 2 Bears. Sure, you could figure out who they are.
Yeah, I
They're
also
both
have 2
top 10
Bears.
draft picks. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. See, with Rome, it's harder because that is a stacked wide receiver room, and targets are going to be hard to come by.
Yes.
But if he can get 70 receptions, he'll be outstanding for what I'm looking for him.
Yeah, he's in a great spot where, he's drafted as a star, but he really does not have to be. There's no pressure for Rome
No.
Odunze on this
And
team.
what's perfect is like Keenan Allen will probably retire or leave by the time Rome is looking for his second contract in the NFL.
Time to get paid. Yeah.
And DJ Moore could be gone too. There's really no telling. But at least Rome will get to be T. Higgins.
Yeah.
At that point. Like he can be at that level. And I think this is a great year for him to just score some touchdowns. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are getting all the attention. And Cole Kmet. Don't sleep on Cole Kmet. I know we haven't talked about him yet.
Yeah.
But don't sleep on Cole Kmet either for touchdowns. So they're going to be real occupied. If you're a defense playing against the Bears and they're in the red zone, give up. I'll be honest, give up. Because if Keenan's not open and DJ's not open and Cole and Rome aren't open, Caleb will just run it in himself.
Yeah. Or DeAndre Swift is going to be
there. There might not be a better option out of the backfield to pass to than DeAndre Swift right now.
That's exactly right. And they also picked up Gerald Everett as well.
Yeah. Not a bad tight end.
The dude who was number seven tight end for the Chargers last year, he's a dog.
Vicious.
Yeah. And Mercedes Lewis, I just noticed that on the depth chart. It's crazy. How old is he now? Wait, we got to do a check. 40. 6'6", 267.
He's a fucking truck.
Oh, he was a first round draft pick in 2006.
Yeah. 3 years old.
I love that.
I was 3 years old.
Yeah. He's still doing it. I
Yeah.
love to see
I
that
will
though.
never
He's a legend.
forget when he scored 3 touchdowns for the Jaguars. Huge day for fantasy football owners.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
okay. I've got one more rookie,
Okay.
and it's Dallas Turner. I think people forgot Dallas Turner got drafted by the Vikings. Swear.
I
I
did until I
swear.
did my notes.
Like, all the talk with the Vikings was like, how are they going to recover from losing Daniil Hunter?
Well, they drafted
They
Dallas
drafted Dallas Turner.
Turner.
That's how they're going to recover.
Yeah.
And sneak preview for surprise players. They signed the best edge rusher from the Texans last year, Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah.
So they figured it out. Um, it's not Daniil Hunter, but the
Yeah.
upside of Dallas Turner and something close to what Jonathan Grenard did last year is just good enough. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for Dallas Turner. Look, if JJ McCarthy was starting, he'd be here. He really would.
Yeah.
Look, the Vikings already had a small draft class. JJ gets hurt. You had the very unfortunate passing of Kyrie Jackson as well, their 4th-round pick.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I know it almost sounds insensitive to say this, but like the Vikings have gotten screwed by this draft class already. Obviously, the sincerest regards to anybody affected and to Kyrie Jackson's family. But this does significantly hurt the Vikings between that and
Oh,
JJ
yeah.
McCarthy being out for his first season when he was slated to start.
Yeah.
It is extremely unfortunate because like their draft class, I think they only made 6 picks, maybe not even, and 2 of them aren't going to see the field.
Yeah. That's such a shame. He, got drafted, literally accomplished probably one dream, that he
Yeah.
was growing up with and then passed away. That is very, very sad. I think you missed a rookie or two.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know.
There's
Who
there's
is it?
there's two more guys on the defense that I think that you missed out on. So
Okay.
I also had Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze and Dallas Turner. But I am very high on these other guys, so much so that they might honestly have a better chance than the other guys that I listed to win, their rookie award.
Mm-hmm.
Devon Bullard, safety out
Yep.
of Georgia for
I
the
had him.
Packers,
I
is
had
going
him
to
right
be
there,
awesome.
and literally right before the video, like right before we started recording, I moved him into surprise.
Surprised, yeah. And then Terrion Arnold, obviously.
He's
That
in there.
guy, he's going to be crazy, I think,
Yeah.
for the Lions.
Yeah. He's in my
Really high
surprise
on him.
players, and I guess we can go ahead and just parlay this into surprise players if you're done with your rookies.
Yeah,
Um,
that was it.
my rookie surprise players, I have Javon because look, I think the Packers, they already have so much young talent. They made 11 draft picks this year, and like 7 of them are going to play.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They continue to be one of the youngest and best teams in the NFL. Javon Bullard is going to be fantastic, but he's going to be alongside Xavier McKinney and Jair Alexander amongst the rest. Like, it's going to be hard to shine in that format, especially as a strong safety. It's really hard to shine in general as a strong safety. Um, but I still like him. I still think he's going to be great. For me with the Lions, they got 2 guys at corner that I had first round grades on. It's just they got Ennis Rakestraw Jr. in the second.
High on him.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have Terrion Arnold or Ennis Rakestraw Jr. because
Yeah.
I love that they took both of them back to back rounds. I think they're both fantastic players, and I do think Terrion will probably be a starter all year. But that doesn't stop Ennis Rakestraw Jr. from stepping up and starting as well.
Oh, yeah. I
Like
agree.
at some point. So that one's exciting. I think Sione Vaki is a sleeper as well, the safety out of Utah that they also drafted, the Lions. Um, like the fact that the way that they overhauled this secondary is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now, you look to next year and it's like, okay, well, we don't have to worry about the secondary at all in the draft. And first round, they can go and get, another edge rusher or, they're probably going to be later in the first round. They could go out and get like the best defensive tackle on the board, most likely, which at the
Yeah.
moment, I don't know who that's going to be, but that's what they're looking at right now. It's just, you could beef up the defensive line next year in the first round or even go out and get a fucking wide receiver. You've addressed enough
Yeah.
needs over the last couple of years so well.
This is so random, but talking about revamping secondaries through the draft just kind of reminded me, and I want you to try to help me figure out who this was. Do you remember when Jamal Adams got drafted to the Jets? They took a free safety in the second round after him, and I cannot remember who
Ooh,
they drafted.
God, what
I
year was
swear
that?
they went back to back safeties in that draft, and I
Was that
can't remember who the other guy was.
2016?
I don't even remember what year.
Me, yeah, I guess I'll try to pull it up, but um, let's see. He was
All right, Jamal
drafted
Adams got
in
drafted
2017.
2017.
2017 draft. You said second round pick by the Jets.
I'm just looking at their 2017 draft class.
Marcus May out of Florida.
That's
Second
right.
round. He didn't pan out, so a
No, no,
lot of
just
safeties in this draft though. They got picked. Buda Baker was in that draft. Jabril Peppers was in that draft as a safety.
oh
Malik
man,
Hooker and Jamal
yeah,
Adams. A lot of safeties.
love that. Yeah.
I do have another surprise player rookie. Will Reichert, kicker out of Alabama on the Vikings. He was a
Oh,
solid
okay.
kicker in college. I love to poke fun at him because he did miss that field goal against Tennessee, but I do believe it was tipped, uh, personally. Um,
Um, yeah,
but
because
yeah, Will
I
Reichert,
think
very good.
Greg Joseph's on another team in this division, or
Could be.
maybe he's still on the Vikings, but
I don't think so. Greg
I
Joseph's
think
on
Greg,
the Packers,
yeah,
which is weird because they have what's his name? Anders Carlson,
yeah,
Dylan
who's
Carlson's brother.
way good of a kicker. Carlson's
Oh, I
awesome.
think Anders Carlson might be hurt. Hold on. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I have
Um,
no idea.
So my only two rookies going back to the segment, my only two surprise rookies were Enos Ragshaw Jr.,
Yep.
the cornerback from Missouri, like you, and then I also like Edrin Cooper, the linebacker out of A&M.
I like that too. Edgerrin Cooper's a
Yeah,
good take. Um,
yeah,
all right. My actual players, Jonathan Grenard, edge rusher for the Vikings. He was the sack
love that.
leader on a fantastic Texans defense last year. Um,
Yeah.
and just comes in to try and fill the role of Daniil Hunter um, alongside Dallas Turner. So I think between the two of them, getting that much pressure off of each other just by being good defensive ends
Is
is gonna
crucial.
work out well. Their quarterback Sam Darnold, I think, has a chance to look good at least. That's how I'll put it. Look, I don't know if he's just gonna show up and have a Baker Mayfield last year kind of season because I don't think that the Vikings are set up for that necessarily. Um, but I don't know. He could show up and be fine. Maybe
Yeah.
some
Um.
Fitzpatrick. Maybe some Ryan Fitzpatrick this season from Sam Darnold.
Oh my goodness. Remember when he went 3-0 that one year? He was wearing Deshaun Jackson's chains. Then he lost to the Steelers. That was that Vance McDonald stiff arm game
Yeah.
on Monday Night Football. I remember that.
Yeah.
Here's my take on Sam Darnold, and you're gonna call me a kook. You're gonna
Okay.
deport me from this country for what I'm about to say.
Wow. I don't
I think
know if I have the power.
Sam, you don't, but I think Sam Darnold, if they somehow have this trajectory where obviously they're bought in on JJ McCarthy because he's their first round
Yeah.
draft pick. I think if they both stay as Vikings for a while, there's a good chance that Sam Darnold could be like the franchise quarterback for the Vikings. And I know that sounds crazy, but
I
I have
don't
seen way too many flashes and not enough crucial opportunities for Sam Darnold to, succeed in the NFL. Like, I mean, obviously he had the opportunities when he first got drafted, which
but he
wasn't
didn't
very
have a
good.
fair opportunity in New York
But, exactly.
because they were so
And
bad all around.
and he's going to have Hawkinson. He's going to have probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I just think it's finally like the stars have aligned for him, and I've been waiting on it. And that's kind of my hot take for this episode
I
is I
like
think
that.
Sam Darnold's going to play so well this year, he might be the Vikings starter moving forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Regardless of if they're brought in on
franchise.
McCarthy.
I don't think it's franchise quarterback, but he could be the transition guy.
Yeah.
If you want to
That's
let JJ get some time, especially you start off your NFL career with a torn ACL before you even play a game, they might want to
terrible.
give him another year just to make sure he's really 100% when he's ready to go. So if you give
Yeah.
Sam Darnold this year to prove it, then he can go another year. Like, essentially, do what the Seahawks did with Geno. Make him prove it this year. Make him do something. And then go from there. And play it by ear.
Yeah.
Honestly. But you already have your quarterback in waiting. So you're already a step ahead of the Seahawks.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm actually I don't know about you, but hearing our friend of the podcast, Jalen Darby,
Mhm.
talk, it just kind of made me realize, and this is big, and I know that some teams are in the position to do this, and some teams are probably even in the position to need this.
Yeah.
But I'm completely against starting rookie quarterbacks for first year.
It depends.
Now,
It really does.
it does depend, but
Because
I
you would have
think
missed. So you would say that Davis Mills should have started for the Texans last year.
I see that's a good point.
That's
That's a really good
yeah.
point.
You're telling me
But,
Tyrod Taylor.
but
Tyrod Taylor has opened the door for so many guys to hop right into a starting job
yeah,
as rookies.
but going back to it, Andy Dalton 100% starts over Bryce Young.
Yeah, but like
If I
Andy
could do it
Dalton, like
again.
whoever the quarterback was going to be was going to be a punching bag. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
Maybe Andy
I mean,
Dalton wins them one more game, but it doesn't matter. They didn't even have a
but
draft pick.
not even for winning games. And I think you just kind of helped my point there. Like, wouldn't you rather want Andy Dalton to be the punching
I
bag
think you
so
would want
Bryce Young can
Bryce Young
sit?
to get the experience. Look, I think one of the
That's a
biggest
point too.
positives we saw out of Bryce Young starting on those games last year, he didn't get hurt.
That's actually
That's
kind of crazy now that you
huge.
brought it up. Yeah.
Like he didn't get like sustainably injured. Like he got hurt in like week 2 or whatever. Andy Dalton came out for week 3, did some shit, and went right back to the backup job because
Yeah.
Bryce was ready to go. The fact that he only got banged up one time early on in that season and just thugged it out all year
Yeah.
is a testament to the fact that Bryce Young earned that opportunity. If he would have got
Yeah.
actually hurt, like if he would have broken something or torn something, we'll say broken early in the season, even if he was ready to come back, Andy Dalton would have started. But the fact that I think it was something lower body that he just like twisted or sprained early in the year, came back from it a week and a half later or whatever, and was ready to go is a testament to why he earned that job, in my mind.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Let's pick up the
yeah,
pace a
we
little
can
bit
go
here.
back to it. We're good.
I've got Aaron Jones as well, and mainly because he's going to be in a position he's never been in before, because he was never, ever a workhorse running back. He might be getting a lot of carries this season,
Yeah.
like naturally, because the quarterback's hurt. I don't care who the quarterback is that steps in, he's going to get carries, unless it's Joe Flacco. But
Yeah.
then again, they didn't have a running back to give the ball to.
That is true.
I also, for the Packers, I've got 2, Dontavian Wicks and Lucas Van Ness. So 2 guys I'm looking at for their second years in the league. Very excited
Also
about
had
the 2
Lucas
of them.
Van Ness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did mine by team. And I have a lot more players than you do, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
run through it
go ahead.
quickly here. Packers, we're gonna go Christian Watson, Luke Musgrave, Lucas Van Ness, and Edgerrin Cooper. Already said him
Yep.
earlier. For the Lions, unlike you, I'm high on Jamison Williams. I'm tired of him having to face bullshit. Granted, some of it he may have brought on himself,
Yeah, he
but
did.
I think I think he's got a blueprint to be a very good wide receiver. I liked what he showed in the playoffs
Yeah,
last year, especially. He stepped up. PJ Reader was a great pickup for this defensive line. Jack Campbell's going to be a dog. Moving on to the Bears, I think DeAndre Swift is going to surprise a lot of people. I could see a big year for him.
agreed. That was one I
Especially,
looked over.
they added all of these wide receivers and they still have Cole Kmet because let's not forget about Cole
Yes.
Kmet. Um,
I couldn't even put him in
I think
surprise. I couldn't put him in surprise. It's not a surprise. It's just
no,
it's like he's not offensive player of the year, but it's not a surprise.
yeah. um, but running the ball and being a little bit more conservative might be something that the Bears do if Caleb Williams is having some trouble getting the ball to his playmakers, and that would be DeAndre Swift.
Yes.
Um, Keenan Allen, I have maybe a surprisingly bad player. IDK, what to expect for him? But apparently he had 12,000 yards last year, or
I like the abbreviation. I
1,200.
like saying IDK. That's funny.
Yeah. Um, I really don't know what to expect from Keenan Allen, but he's always been talented.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson is set up to
Mm,
be crazy
I
this
like
year, I
that.
think. Jaquan Brisker made this list. I think he's going to make a big step. Replacing Eddie Jackson with Kevin Byard is a
Oh,
big thumbs up for the Bears.
huge. Love
That's
that.
awesome. Um,
Love that.
Full commit, obviously. We don't need to say why. And then I got Kevin White because he's going to break out sometime soon, right?
I guess. Boring ass name.
No, I'm talking about the old Kevin White. Remember the receiver they had?
Yes.
That was the joke.
I
That was
know.
the joke.
Boring
Grayson
name
didn't think
though.
it was funny.
Boring name.
The Vikings, we have Sam Darnold. I already gave my whole my whole dick ride
Yeah.
about him. Andrew Van Ginkel, I think, was a great pickup for the
I do like
Vikings.
that one.
Aaron Murphy Jr. was also a great pickup for the Vikings, and Evon Pace Jr. Evon, he's going to be really really good this year. I think for the Vikings,
I
linebacker.
like it. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
solid list. Is that everything?
that was everything.
All right. Well, next week we conclude the previews
NFC
with the
Beast.
NFC Beast. As it
Let's
goes,
go.
that is the way to end it. And honestly, I don't even know what to expect. I really don't know. I I think
CeeDee
the
Lamb gonna play a
yeah,
game
dude,
next year?
every single I can't get a read on any of the teams in the NFC East. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
Um hopefully that changes by next Thursday. But
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure it out.
yeah, we're definitely gonna figure it out. But for now, that is the NFC North. Let us know in the comments who we missed in any category, and tell us your standings. All right, Premier League weekend. It is time. The first Premier League weekend of the year here. It is, I guess, match week 2, whatever. We actually have a couple good matchups, I would say. The 3 that I highlighted, I think I totally forgot to tell you the 3 that I highlighted.
It's okay.
Our Brighton versus Manchester United is where we'll start. Very obviously a fantastic matchup. Will I be up to watch it? Maybe.
No.
7:30 a.m. Probably
Yeah.
not going to happen. But very much looking forward to this matchup. For Manchester United, you had Zirkzee scoring off the bench in like the 87th minute to get that win in your first match, in his first Premier League match. Rashford and Mason Mount still look like shit. That hasn't changed. It didn't. The summer
Yeah.
changed nothing for them. Also, why the fuck was Bruno Fernandes up front playing like a false 9?
I don't know.
I could
I
not
do not know.
believe that when I saw the lineup that they put out on the field. I was
Yeah.
I was like I thought I was losing my mind. I truly thought I was like my eyes were deceiving me.
Do we get to see Mateus DeLitt in this game, Grayson?
I don't know if he's ready to go yet. I I, I really don't. Um I've heard whisperings. I've seen rumors and he's ready. And they brought him in the 81st in the first game. So hopefully
Hmm.
hopefully he is starting over Harry Maguire this weekend.
Oh my god, he's still only 25.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
and putting him next to Lissandro Martinez, who is 26 and a World Cup winner. It's a solid center back duo on paper. I will say that. Um,
Yes.
I would like to talk about Brighton though. They wiped the floor with Everton in Hertzler or Hursler's managerial debut in the Prem. Um, and I think the biggest thing for Brighton is this is how they looked when they were healthy last year, except they weren't healthy after like Thanksgiving. Like
Yeah.
we saw Kaoru Matoma score in this game, and Simon Adingra scored in this game, as well as one other that am blanking on at the moment. But like the usual suspects from last year were the ones scoring.
Yeah.
Danny Welbeck as well, who was pretty good
Which
last year
is
for them.
bro, they started Brighton in 2024 has
Yes,
James Milner and Danny Welbeck
man.
in their starting 11.
This is James Milner. I believe I saw 23rd season in the Premier League.
Yeah, shout out James Milner.
Unreal, absolutely
Yeah.
unreal. Danny Welbeck. How about it? Showing up, man of the
Honestly.
fucking match, going
Yeah.
an assist.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. But I liked what I saw from this side in this game. Obviously, Everton's not a great opponent, but coming out high flying, getting on the board early, 25th minute goal. Danny Welbeck scores in the 56th, and then you had the late goal from Adingra in the 86th. But loved how they looked with Hughes. I got to remember how to say this. Hursler, Huesler, Her,
Ursler?
Herzler, Herzler. That's it, Herzler. Um,
Ursler.
yeah, they look great. Well, okay, it's an umlaut. I don't know how I'm supposed to say it. Whatever. I'm calling him Herzler. Um, I think he's a great replacement for De Zerbi. I think De Zerbi kind of just got unlucky with injuries last year and got sacked.
Yeah.
And he's about to run some shit at Marseille. If you haven't been keeping up with their transfers this summer, he is about to run shit at Marseille. But nonetheless, we know what a healthy Brighton is capable of. And Manchester United, their recent acquisitions, the ones that are healthy, look good. I
Yeah,
will
I
give
think
them that.
it's big for United, to have Zirkzee be the one to get that goal
Yeah,
as
and
well.
what's nice is you could probably expect Zirkzee to be starting in this squad next week after that goal. I would assume he will, which will push Bruno back to Cam, take Mason Mount out of the lineup. Now you'll probably
Get
still see
him out of
Rashford.
the lineup.
You did have
Yeah.
Ahmad Diallo starting at right wing and was not bad at all.
No. Yeah,
Only
very good
didn't
performance for
convert
him.
3 passes out of 29. A pretty solid showing. Casemiro looked surprisingly good. Kind of pairing him with Mainu, I like a lot. I think it brings out a
Yeah.
good side of Casemiro pairing him with Mainu. And Marcus Rashford simply should be playing on like Leicester right now. Uh, he's so
Yeah,
bad. But like
for
honest,
sure.
I'm not even kidding. Put Garnacho at the left wing and sit Marcus Rashford right now. I literally don't care. Garnacho is not very good. He's probably better than Rashford and is not going to cause us many issues when he's on the field.
Yeah, that's a hot take, but I can kind of agree with you there. And I think the only reason why this Fulham game kind of looks sketchy for Manchester United is the way that they lined up,
Yep,
in that attack.
I
Well, we
agree.
know we know Rashford is ineffective.
Yeah,
So is Mason Mount, and Bruno at striker I think he's just too much of kind of like a soft player to be playing
yeah,
that striker role. Um, so yeah, definitely get Mason Mount out of the lineup. And Marcus Rashford, I would still say is a 50-50. I think he's probably better than Garnacho, but at the same time, I'm ready to just stop seeing Marcus Rashford keep getting opportunities at Manchester United and
I
not taking
agree.
them.
I think
So
as soon as Hoylund comes back from this hamstring, which is like mid September, I want to see a two striker formation.
yeah,
I really do. Like I would love to see some type of probably like a 4-4-2-2-2. Is that right? Four? No,
4-2-2-2.
no, that's not right. Hold on. What am I trying to say? I have no fucking clue. I can't do simple
Four two
addition.
three two.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to see, but I want to see it narrow. Sorry, 4-4-2 narrow. That's what I'm talking about. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah,
Where you
okay.
have kind of center mids and then two center defensive mids, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. I want to see two strikers, two center mids that can naturally float to the outside, and then Mainu and Casemiro anchoring it down. Because Højlund and Zirkzee will play off of each other well. I do think.
Yeah.
Because like Xerxes a very good passer. So if he plays in behind on Højlund, I think they're going to set each other up very often.
Yeah.
And you could always push Manu up, put McTominay in. You could keep Manu there and put Christian Eriksen in. He's an option that didn't even see the field in the last game. So there's a lot of things Manchester United could do with this team. Still not the biggest fan of Dalot or Dalot, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Not his biggest
Yeah.
fan. He did play well though. Yeah. What are we thinking? Brighton versus Manchester United. What's the score prediction?
Oh man, Manchester United are definitely the better team, but I kind of feel like they're still figuring things out with their, all their new signings as compared to Brighton, who seems like they kind of already have their team figured
Yeah.
out. I think Manchester United, despite me being so high on them, and I still am, I think they're going to lose this one, maybe like 2-1.
I was thinking 2-1 as well. I'm going to go 2-1
Yeah.
Brighton and follow suit. Okay, next one. Another huge matchup. Aston Villa versus Arsenal.
Oh yes.
God, I love this matchup, and it's a standalone 12:30 game. I gotta say, finally, it worked out. Mikel Arteta not learning his lesson with Havertz at striker finally paid off. A goal
Yeah.
and an assist for Havertz is just what Mikel Arteta needed for him to ruin his tactics for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that was coming off of a pretty decent Euro
Yeah,
for Havertz.
yeah.
So
And then you also had
Um,
Saka scoring a goal and assisting. So those two just doing all the work up in the attack. But excuse me. I like how Arsenal looked. Game one wasn't like a fierce opponent, but
yeah,
I did like how they looked, and I liked how Aston Villa looked too. Amadou Onana getting on the board in his first Prem game for Aston Villa was huge. Like, yes, he was great at Everton. He has scored twice in, I think, 3 or 4 seasons in his career, in his professional career. Last year was one of them. He's already scored a goal in the first game of the season this year. He's in blistering pace to smash
Yeah.
his professional high of 2 in a year. But Villa stomped West Ham. I know it was 2-1, but you had, Susek. He looked pretty good, honestly, for West Ham, but that was it. Like, literally, they bitched everybody on that team. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Crew
somehow
got some
the one underperformer for Villa in their first game was Ollie Watkins. He was
Yeah, I
the one
know.
guy I was looking for to do something that didn't. Everybody else on the field looked great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Unai
definitely.
Emery has something going here this season for Aston Villa, and I'm glad that I was high on them.
For sure, and I love the fact that John McGinn is still in this lineup as
Yes.
well. I mean, like, what a player he is.
Yes.
And I love Leon Bailey too. My favorite Jamaican of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved how Aston Villa looked last week, with the exception of Ollie Watkins, which, once again, very surprising. But like, Yori Tielemans looked good. Onana looked good. I just really, really liked what I saw from Aston Villa. And of course, Arsenal is Arsenal. I see this one being a draw. I think they're equal powers here as we look at the
Ooh.
second week of this season. Obviously,
Yeah,
I do think Arsenal pulls ahead at some point, but they need to figure some things out with who's starting and who's not. I think Villa's got something figured out here. I don't think Arsenal is in their final stage of how they want to be lined up.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think I'm gonna go like 1-1 draw for
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, I'm thinking 1-1 as well. I don't love the goal scoring ability for Arsenal week in and week out with this lineup right now. Obviously, Saka's going to
No.
get his goals. I don't trust Havertz with the slightest shred of hope at all. But I do trust Saka to score his goals, and I trust Villa to somebody will step up every game. It does not matter who it is. It'll probably be Ollie Watkins if I had to guess. So yeah, 1-1. But I think Villa's maybe going to come out as the winner visually on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. This one was just like I needed a third game. Liverpool versus Brentford. Uh,
Mm.
Brentford did kind of surprise me. I will say. They have no Ivan Toney. He's waiting. They're waiting on him to give a decision on whether he's going to Saudi Arabia or not. And they still beat Crystal Palace 2-1. This is a Brentford squad that like people were talking about maybe going down at the end of this year, or at least floating around that area because Ivan Toney is leaving. A lot of guys stepping up on this team, though, man. They beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Palace scored an own goal. Or sorry, Palace's one goal was an own goal. So it was a little more dominant than it looked. Uh, but I was pleasantly surprised by Brentford.
Yeah, no, they looked really, really good against a Palace team that's
Not great.
really, but surprised a lot of people last season. They had flashes where they all looked good.
Problem is
And
all their good
you and
players
I
left.
know, except for Eberechi, who we
Yeah.
already have discussed that free kick was totally robbed from him. What a free
Yeah.
kick that was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Um, Yeah, they kind of lined up weird here. Like, there's no more Elise, so now Eperechiesi is kind of forced to come more in the middle. Well, he already was kind of a cam, right? I don't
Yeah.
think they played him on the wing much. But I really liked the wing play from Palace. Even kind of historically in my lifetime, like with Yannick Bolasie and then
Yeah.
Michael Elise. Now they're not able to do that anymore. Which we're going to kind of see this season how they navigate it. But in at least the first game, Brentford got the best of them.
Yeah. What I do love, though, about Palace is, at least for the time being, that back three is solid. It really is. Chris Richards, um, Anderson, Joaquim Anderson, and Mark Gahey is a fantastic back three.
Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that back
underrated
three.
captain in Mark Gahey. Underrated
Agreed. A
captain
guy that
in the Prem.
Newcastle showed a lot of interest in this summer.
Oh, dude, that move would have been nice.
Oh man, it was going to be my chance to get Fabian Schär out of here.
Yeah.
It was the time. But yeah, I really liked what I saw from Brentford. And like, there's a lot of guys on this Brentford team I'd never even fucking heard of. I got to be honest. There's a lot
Oh
of them.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
have heard
They have like
of
a
Yohan Wissa, the uh, DR Congo native,
yeah.
and he scored
Can't
the
forget
goal
about
and assist.
Flecken.
Yeah, Flecken, fantastic keeper, and he looked amazing in this game.
Yeah. They
Um,
started a Martin Odegaard regen at center mid. Christian Norgard.
yeah,
Norgard.
who is the captain in
Yeah.
this squad at 30 years old, just now kind of bursting onto the scene. I think he's been at Brentford for a number of years though. Um,
Yeah.
I like what I saw from Brentford. Liverpool beat Ipswich 2-0. Who's surprised? Look,
Mhm.
I do know what I said. Oh, Ipswich isn't going down. They're going to compete with some teams. I didn't say they were going to compete with good teams. They just
I
need to
mean,
beat
it
the
was
bad ones.
0-0 for 60 minutes in
Yeah,
that game.
yeah.
So
I think Kieran
there's that.
McKenna's side did all that they could, but Liverpool is just simply too talented to lose to Ipswich right now. Um, and I think what I'm thinking is Liverpool, first of all, the only team in all of Europe, literally all the top 7 leagues in Europe, to not make a move. Not a single signing this summer by
hmm
Liverpool, and you've changed managers. So your
Yeah.
tactics changed, and you didn't make a single signing. That's
That's
concerning.
why I'm so low on him,
I
man.
am too. I really am. And I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I don't be surprised if Brentford maybe pulls off a win, but they are more than capable of pulling off a draw against Liverpool here.
Yeah, definitely.
I know it would suck for us to
Definitely.
predict 2 draws this week, but I'm looking at Brentford for a draw here. Um, Obviously, even Tony is not going to play, um, at least as it stands. Um, like shit, Brentford. One of the signings they made this week, they stole a player from Liverpool. Obviously, it's a young player, Vandenberg, but still, Liverpool needs to do something. Um, and look,
Definitely.
I'm not saying they don't have talent on the field. They've got a talented team, as talented as you could probably find in the Premier League right now. But not totally sold on Jota up top. Not my favorite. He did score, just not my favorite. And between Soboslai and McAllister and Gravenberch, that three in the midfield is like a collection of guys that I still can't decide if I believe in or not. All three of them. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but I can't decide how I feel about any of those three.
Would you put Harvey Elliott in for one of those three instead in your starting 11 or no?
I don't know. He's kind of questionable at times. He's young,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say.
And Harvey Elliott looks good though. He looks
He does.
very, very
He
good.
does. And what's his face? The Northern Ireland kid. I think
Oh,
he's played
Curtis
some.
Jones?
No, he's English. He's played
Oh, Connor
some
Bradley?
midfield. Yes, he's played some midfield, but I think he's primarily a fullback. Um, so it's kind of hard for him to get into the game. But I do like Connor Bradley a lot for a young player for them. I think he actually subbed in for Trent in the 77th minute in that last game. But yeah, I don't love what I'm seeing on the field. And like Liverpool doesn't have a lot of injuries, and like Jarrell Quansah is starting at center back alongside Virgil. I don't love
Yeah.
that. He's 21 years old, so there's things to look forward to. But like, ooh,
Yeah, they ended up subbing Konyate in like in the
yeah,
46th minute, so pretty much halftime
yeah.
at that spot. So
Um, also, like, can we give Cody Gakpo a real chance, please?
oh
Please. If
man,
there was a
right?
time, it would be now. Like, oh my God, let him do something.
Yeah,
stop
yeah, for
making him
sure.
stop making him play 20 minutes a game, if that.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm actually really high on Dominique Soboslai if they actually keep him at cam.
Yes,
Because
agreed.
I want to say last season they didn't really play him at cam all that much.
Well, they didn't
And
really
I
run.
feel
They
like
ran a 4-3-3 kind of flat every game last year.
yeah,
It
and
seemed like
I think he ended up like being out wide a couple games too, but
sometimes,
then again I'm not
a lot of
sure.
times, he was just the right center mid in that
Yeah.
in that uh in that line. Even sometimes they played a more defensive 4-3-3 and had Gravenberg or Endo as the central defensive mid, and then you had the right center mid and left center mid as Szoboszlai and McAllister,
Yeah.
which I also still don't love. um,
But
but yeah,
just finishing my point real fast though, I feel like a lot of cams that come to the Premier League, especially really good ones like Soboslai, they end up not being cams. And I know
yeah,
Soboslai was like left mid cam, but you kind of saw the same thing with Havertz. And I feel like if Soboslai actually stays at cam consistently for Liverpool, he'll probably be one of the better players on this team, especially when Salah leaves for Saudi Arabia next year.
it's
So
gonna happen at some point. It
it
has
is
to.
going to happen, yeah.
It has to.
And Luis Diaz is coming off of a magical Copa America
Agreed.
as well.
He's one
So
guy that like I'm still gonna believe in this season
yeah, I'm
for
set
Liverpool.
on Diaz
I hate the
for
new
sure.
logo. I'll say that. I hate the new Liverpool logo.
Uh it's cool.
I don't know. I think it's a step back.
Pretty cool.
I liked the old badge, and we're never gonna see it again
Yeah.
because it's not like a
Old badge
temporary.
is
It's not
good.
like a we're only changing it here. Like it's not on the jerseys. It's not on the websites. It's nowhere to be found.
Oh man.
Yeah, it sucks because that's a legendary badge.
It is a legendary badge.
Okay, rest of the slate though. Saturday, Brighton Man United starts it off, and then you got a bunch of 10 o'clock games. 5 games at 10 o'clock. Palace versus West Ham, Fulham versus Leicester, Man City versus Ipswich. Good God, did they give Ipswich the gauntlet? Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. I would rather sleep, I guess. Spurs Everton, Villa Arsenal, stand alone at 12:30, and then you go to Sunday. You got Bournemouth Newcastle. God, I hope that one goes our way. Wolves Chelsea and Liverpool Brentford standalone 11:30.
Pedro Neto might be playing against his old team for Chelsea.
Very fun. What do you think about
Which
Chelsea
you
in
know,
week one? We didn't
oh
really get a chance to talk. I'm
man,
going to keep you
bro.
on a 4-minute clock though.
All right. Looked really good. Aside from finishing, because we have Nicholas Jackson, he is still a infuriating player to watch. He's too raw of a striker.
Okay.
It's like telling an NFL wide receiver, "Hey, go play striker in the Premier League." That's what he looks like. Um,
Dude, that
eh,
one where he had the easiest run forward and he
I
had the
know.
angle and then he didn't shoot and then he just kept running sideways and just
Yeah,
never took a shot killed me. The first time
which
he lined it up, he could have scored.
yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable.
That play ended up being ruled back off sides, but regardless, he also had a chance
Yeah.
that went like over his shoulder, and he just kicked it straight at the goalie from like 6 yards away, probably 5 yards.
Mhm.
Um, the play that Kovacic scored on, by the way, fair play Kovacic for not celebrating against us. I still love you, but we sold Kovacic for 20 million euros to City just to watch him dribble through the middle of a Caicedo and Enzo, which cost about 220 million euros.
Mhm.
That was horrible, and it's so bad that a lot of Chelsea fan accounts are now taking Enzo out of their like predicted starting 11. It just Enzo's completely fallen out of favor with Chelsea fans. I hope that we get to see Yao Felix as soon as possible. With how bad Nicholas Jackson is, but I don't know what's going to happen there. Overall, there were definitely flashes that Chelsea had. We had possession, we had
Yeah.
chances, just no goals. And it was frustrating, but going back to it, overall, I think Chelsea played well, just no goals.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
It only took you
Um,
a minute and a half, really.
well,
Not
actually,
bad.
if you want me to keep
No, you
going, I
don't
have
need to keep
one thing.
going.
No, I
No,
forgot
you
one
don't.
thing.
We're
You're
already
gonna
we're
be
already over
interested in
2
this,
hours. We
Grayson.
need to get to questions time. The people are
Other
chomping at the bit. I can
one
hear
last
them in the
thing. It's an
comments right
Instagram
now.
post.
If you want questions
um,
time to start, comment it right now. Questions time.
the last thing I wanted to say, real quick, is Sterling and a few other members of the Chelsea squad are preparing to confront Enzo Maresca after being forced to train alone.
Oh, I heard that
Apparently,
Raheem Sterling was offered to West Ham.
I heard Juventus.
Yeah, that too. I heard that one as well.
Uh,
Okay, it's questions
was
time.
it?
It's
Let's do it.
questions time. And Nathan got them submitted on time, like we said at the beginning of the episode. Of course, once again, I'll plug the Reddit one more time, actually, second time, and then I'm going to do it again after we're done. r/2nd A&D short. Submit your questions by Thursday at 5 p.m. every week. They will get answered. I will read off the emojis that Nathan titled this with. It is a question mark, a knife, and cheese. I would assume that is who cut the cheese. Um, is what that is supposed to be. Um,
Mm.
But we'll start off with what NFL coaches are on the hot seat this season. Ooh, this is a discussion that we
Ooh,
have not quite had yet.
Eberflus.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early for Caleb's career for them to put. They're gonna lump them together
You think
right
so?
now. I think so. I think they're gonna get lumped together.
I I don't know, with how long they've been calling for his job. Aside from the end of last season, I just feel like he's in the hot seat if he
Yeah,
doesn't start well.
I just think like if the team doesn't do well and everybody's doing well, I could see it happening. But like if you see a shred of struggle out of Caleb Williams, but they like each other, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a different NFC North coach, Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
I know he just lost his quarterback, but last year wasn't great. I know, once again, injuries, but
Mhm.
got to see what he's like without Kirk. Obviously, once
Yeah.
again, injuries, so he might be getting out of it again. Um, but I would be interested to see. I think that the tough part is with hot seats right now. Like everybody that I would have said it got fired and got replaced.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
you could probably make a case for what's his face, Dennis Smith. Is that his name for the Saints?
Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen, that's his name. Um, you could probably make a claim for him being on the hot seat.
What about Robert Sala?
Ooh, I do like that.
Um,
I do.
I know
What about
that
Brian Dable?
uh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I like Dable still, but maybe more as an offensive coordinator. I
Let's
don't know.
keep it up north. What about Sirianni?
I would look, if you've been listening to this podcast since at least the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl that we covered on this podcast, um, you would know that I think Nick Sirianni is a cornball.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good coach. I really don't. The dysfunction that we saw last year in the coaching
Yeah.
in particular was a big reflection of Nick Sirianni as a head coach. Because look,
Yeah.
his two coordinators that left, I'm so high on. I'm so high on Shane Steichen and the Colts, and I'm relatively high on Gannon and the Cardinals. He just needs more time to figure some things out.
I'm gonna throw two more names out for you, and you tell me, okay?
Okay.
Evan Stefanski.
No. He's locked in
Well,
because he got him to the playoffs.
what about Mike McCarthy?
That's he lives on the hot seat in Dallas. If you're the Dallas head coach, you live on the hot seat. And look, he probably should have been fired last season. And he
Yeah.
probably should have been
Yeah.
fired the year before that and probably the year before that too. But he hasn't. So
But he
he's perpetually on the hot seat, and it's not a fat joke. But
Yeah.
you could take it that way if you'd like, and I wouldn't mind it. I got one more, and it's a proverbial hot seat. Maybe not even proverbial. Well, it's already a proverbial hot seat. It's like the opposite, I guess. I don't know. Sean McVay is on the hot seat to retire. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sean McVay can
Yeah.
retire at any moment. He really could. He's not going to get fired. He's got a job for life with the Rams. He won the Super Bowl. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
He's got a job for life, but you always got to watch out. He might retire at any moment.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next thing. If all three hosts attempted a pole vault, could they combine for a higher total height than Mondo Duplantis' world record? I went ahead and looked this up. It is 6.25 meters. Now, I have never in my life attempted pole vault. I've never even put
neither.
one of the sticks in my hand. I would have to assume I'm not even getting over. Like, I'm not getting up.
Yeah.
I would, like, put it in the spot and stop. If I had to guess. So,
Yeah.
no. unless you and you alone are capable of breaking Mondo Duplantis' record, me and Colin are not going to help.
I have no chance. I'm just like you. I haven't even held one. I don't know like what to do.
Nope. I know
Like,
that you hold it
nothing.
like this
Yeah.
as you run, and that's it. That's
it.
all. I don't
Yeah.
know how they even get it to bend.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. Crocs or slides?
Slides.
I'd probably say okay, look. This is bougie. I have a pair of Yeezy foam runners. They're close. I guess they're closer to Crocs than slides.
Yeah.
So I think I'd have to go Crocs.
That's fair.
Shout out Nathan. He got me the foam runners. Kind of crazy he'd ask me this question knowing that I have them. What is the coolest random sports stat you know? I'm interested to hear yours. I'll think about one.
Mine isn't random, but it's been my favorite one to tell people recently. And you're gonna really, really appreciate this one. I just actually have to find the exact stat because I don't want to be wrong. It's not gonna take me long.
I'm doing mine too, and honestly, we might have the same stat.
All right, are you ready for mine?
Yeah, go ahead. I hope you don't steal mine.
It's Hank Aaron's All-Star games.
Okay.
25 is
unbelievable.
I don't even know what to say.
I believe
about that.
he missed it in his first and last year of his career. Is that right?
Wikipedia says 25-time All-Star, 1955 to 1957, which is weird because that's 20 years.
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't understand that, but it says he's 25 times.
I'm going to pull up his baseball reference.
Yeah, that'd be better.
My stat is the Tony Gwynn batted .429 against Greg Maddux. And never struck out. It's unbelievable. 103 times. They faced each other 103 times. Greg Maddux, top 10 at least all time.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the best control pitchers.
Yeah.
And Tony Gwynn faced him 103 times, batted .429, and never struck out.
Yeah, but then
Another
again,
fun.
though,
Tony Gwynn is full of fun stats. Willie Mays was a 301 lifetime hitter in the big leagues. Tony Gwynn was a 302 lifetime hitter with 2 strikes. Unbelievable.
that is
Um,
hard to do.
so I have fact checked the Hank Aaron stat, and I was correct. He missed it in the first and last years of his career, 1954 to 1976. Or sorry,
That is
1954 and 1976 were the only ones that he missed.
that is it's incredible. And
Yes.
like those are the 2 seasons that you'd be like, "Oh, okay, it's all right that he missed it."
Yeah, he was also top 20 in MVP voting from 1955. Every single year he was up until all the way through 1973.
Wow.
And he won it once because that's what they do to people.
Wild. Yeah.
Um, that was a fun question. I'm
That
sure I
was a
could
very
think
good
of others,
question.
but like I don't typically keep them on the top of my head.
I got one more.
Like Bobby Cox's career ejections is unfathomable. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like he's like very clear of second place.
Yeah. Trying to find the correct stat here again. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones, and I think the first time I ever told you this on the podcast, you actually had never knew about this before.
Mm.
But it's Ben Roethlisberger's 2-game stretch in 2014.
Yeah.
The Colts and the
Yeah, I
Ravens.
remember this.
Where
I think we did this.
Ben Roethlisberger.
I think this was a "Do you remember" when we used to do that
Yeah,
segment at
probably.
the end of
I
the
think it
show.
was. Yeah,
I think
I
it
think you're
was.
exactly right. But against the Colts, he completed over 80% of his passes for 522 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Holy shit.
Two different receivers had over 100 yards.
Yeah.
And both Roethlisberger and Andrew Luck combined for 900 yards of passing that game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Bobby Cox has 41 more ejections in second place. He had 162 in his career. A
Wow.
full season's worth of ejections.
Yeah.
You got anything else? We'll go to the next one.
I was going to go back to the Roethlisberger one,
yeah, go ahead.
because in the game after it against the Ravens, he threw another 6 touchdowns, but only 340 yards. I like how I'm saying only.
Yeah.
So in 2 games, Ben Roethlisberger had 862 yards and 12 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unreal. How many 9-year-olds do you think you could strike out consecutively before you walked one or gave up a hit?
Strike out 9-year-olds.
Yeah. It's not easy. It
No,
depends on the
I'd
level that
probably
they're playing at. There are some good ass
probably
9-year-olds.
say 3 or 4.
I'm gonna say 6. I think I could strike out the side twice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just like 9-year-olds don't know what to do against a curveball. They've only been playing kid pitch for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I could handle.
They also
Handle
don't know
pitching
what
to
to
a
do when
9-year-old.
the Cuban missiles heading for the bridge of their
Yeah.
nose.
When I'm up there on the on the mound, just being like, I am 9.
Yeah.
They're screwed. Put a beer in my hand, they're really done.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Give me a wiffle ball.
Yeah. In a fenced-in backyard with a grill
exactly.
going. Oh, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need an apron on while I'm doing that shit. Okay, last thing. If you had to use an MLB player's bat, who would you use? Can't change the length or weight. Just to be funny, I'm going to say Ozzy Albies. Because he uses a comically large bat.
I'd probably go with Aaron Judge just because Jazz Chisholm told us all to.
Fair enough.
That's the bat he used.
Yeah, Ozzy Albies swings a 34.5-inch bat.
And he's like 5'5".
Yeah, dude. It's so funny. Really so funny. And it's a drop 2. I don't think I could swing that. I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Ronald Acuna, his bat sounds perfect. Ronald Acuna swings a 33.5 drop 3, which sounds wonderful. So I would love to swing Ronald Acuna's bat, personally. All right. That's it. That's all the questions. Of course, anybody that is listening, we've got a lot of stuff down the pipeline. It is ramping right back up. I'm so excited.
5-star recruits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got a whole lot to look forward to. NFC Beast next week, the preview. This week, week 0 recap. Let me pull up the Google Calendar. So I know we have other things coming up.
While you're doing that, you think it might be the NFC least this year?
Might be.
I think it could be.
I don't know, though. Cowboys-Eagles is going to be a fight.
That is true.
This week, yes, NFL playoff predictions with me and Colin on Monday. Week 0 recap and week 1 preview for college football on Monday as well. Next week, the NFC Beast and another week of Premier League soccer and another week of MLB baseball. So much to look forward to.
Colin gets all the predictions?
Well, he's got playoff predictions, but we've been doing previews for a month and a half.
That is true.
So it works out that way where it's like me and him are going to be talking college football. Me and you are going to be talking soccer. We're both going to be talking MLB. So
yeah,
it just kind of worked out that way. But nonetheless, a lot to look forward to coming down the pipeline. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the YouTube. Like I said, leave a comment on who we forgot in the NFC North or your standings prediction or who's going to win any of the games we talked about in the Premier League section of this video, or any of your answers to Nathan's questions from Questions Time, or any of your questions that you still have, comment them, or go to the subreddit r/2ndand short and submit those questions by 5 p.m. on Thursday, right there where Luke is pointing. Also, follow us on social media. It's as well on that bottom line of the screen. Stay up to date with everything we're doing. Sometimes you just throw out a little post. Sometimes the Colts put out a pretzel that looks like shit, and we post about it. You never know what you're going to see, because I also don't know what I'm going to post until we record these episodes, and I'm like sitting there like, I don't know, that would be funny. So, look, there's a lot to look forward to. Follow us everywhere on the podcast platforms. Rate 5 stars. Give us a follow on there. Luke, anything else for the people?
I just really want Chelsea to win this weekend. That's it.
That is great.
Yeah,
I want Newcastle to win. I did write a fun fact for the end of the episode.
Okay.
And then we will cut it off. The Yankees have spent nearly $3.1 billion since 2010 in contracts and have less World Series hits than Zach Greinke.
Wow.
Fun fact.
At least it's Zach Greinke, though.
That's fair. All right.
That was not a fun fact.
That was a very fun fact. And feel free, all the listeners out there, go share that with all your friends and share the podcast with them and your dog and your aunt and your neighbor and your teachers and your professor and your general practitioner and
every fucking body.
Your preacher. All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Luke will see you next Friday. Peace.
Peace.